That's not working. Check. Hello. Yep. Now it's working. Facebook. How's that audio sounding for you? Yeah. All the social media stuff. Just type in Real News Radio. Real News Radio. We'll get it on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. YouTube also. There's a couple new episodes up right now of what we call The Station. Just giving you sort of a behind-the-scenes look as to what we do each day. Got Sarah back there running the board this morning. How you doing? She's waving. Yeah. All right. Yeah. Hey, let me just say this at the top here. We got a slew of topics to get to today. A bunch of national stories. I'll hit those in just a minute. We also have an individual named Simon Roach coming up at the 9 o'clock hour. He's going to be calling in, or rather we're going to be calling him. He's a member of a group that I'm going to have to look up the pronunciation of this group a couple times because I do not speak with a South African accent. I want to make sure to do this properly. But we're talking about what's going on in South Africa right now. We're talking about, it's difficult to talk about this topic without, let's be real, touching on racial issues, not racist issues that have a tendency to delve in the realm of racial issues. That is, there's a new government in South Africa right now. I'm going to try and see if we can walk this back all the way to possibly when apartheid ended and then going forward, what is happening to Caucasian individuals in South Africa right now. It's a very, very interesting topic. We also have some folks from the Smokies coming in. We are now the home of the Smokies broadcasting. They'll be coming in, letting us all know about what's going on with the season. Opening day, I believe, was last Wednesday? Last Tuesday? Thursday? I don't know, man. Somebody will let me know. It was pretty soon, something like that. Like I said, a slew of local topics to get to. I also want to say we have an individual. Let me pull this up on my Gmail right now. A city councilwoman who... Stephanie Welch, I'm pretty sure is her name. Let me just Google this right now. Okay. That's right. First District, City of Knoxville. Okay, cool. Yeah, so we're good on that. I was wondering what the district was. City Councilwoman Stephanie Welch, First District. Hubert Smith did an incredible interview with her. I want to say this past weekend. It might have been the weekend before, but I'm fairly certain it was this past weekend. Hubert Smith, you can listen to his program on the weekends here. And was doing an interview with Stephanie Welch, City Councilwoman again from the First District here. And I have this audio clip here. It's about, a minute and a half, maybe 2 minutes long. I'll pull it up on the main computer here during this first break. But she ends up going on to say, hey, we all need to sort of embrace this idea that is public transportation. And she makes the argument, I really want to know how the Real News audience feels about this, because I'll tell you, to be honest, Real News, I'm not sure which one it is. Whether we just have an interesting perspective because the vast majority of our listeners tend to lean libertarian, they tend to lean constitutionist, they certainly tend to lean conservative, let's be honest about that. But most of the people that either call into the show or that talk to me on Facebook or that I know personally this listen to the show or that I've met, we had John come by afterwards after the show and give me a really cool Army shirt. I was going to wear it today, John, just so you know, but my wife ended up taking it from me, so. Well, not take it. It just looked better on her than it looked on me, okay? What do you want me to say about that? So I'm letting her wear that. Anyways, back to Stephanie Welch. She made the argument that, and I'll let y'all see how you want to go with it, but she made the argument that we need to try and convince people to stop driving. The best way to rather incentivize public transportation is to de-incentivize private transportation. Does that make sense? We need to figure out a way to get people to stop driving their cars. Therefore, the only option they will have, and I'm putting words in her mouth a little bit. You listen to the audio clip for yourself if you want to. We're going to bring this up again today. I know the recode stuff is on people's minds, and we've stressed as much as we possibly can. But we're going to bring it up today because I believe there's another meeting going on the 4th, which should be today's Tuesday. That should be Thursday, being that today's the 2nd. Again, a slew of national topics to get to. I'll finish up my spiel on this when I get back, being that it is 7:18. We'll hit this first break, come back with the rest of these stories. Be right back. No time to talk. The music loud, the women want my baby to rest. All right, Facebook. I'm giving Android one final shot, okay? One final shot, Android. That's all you're getting. I got this Essential phone. It's called the Essential phone, made by the guy who co-founded or co-wrote or, I don't know, Android itself. It's literally just pure stock Google. I got it for uber super cheap on eBay because it did so terribly when it first came out. Now people are just giving the things away.
But, Android, I'm giving you one final shot to do me right. If you don't, I'm done with you. I'm going back to iPhone. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Hold on. Hang on, Facebook. I know, it's getting weird. Hold on. What does that look like? Y'all getting a big shot of my double chin here? I'm guessing that looks okay. Yeah. We'll say it does. Why not? Let's get the captain's chair. Boom. Gotta get my accoutrement. Ow. Set the stage. Okay. Let's get my buddies out here. My Japanese buddies. Number one. Because that's what we are. Real News Audience is number one. Oh, that doesn't work. Yeah, that works. A little bit. Oh no. What is going on with my chairs? I'm losing it.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Henry, the host of this show, that really, the Crown Pros. Back here, Sarah, you see this? See this shimmy I got going on?
And I just thought you were dancing to the music, so.
Yeah, that's right. Hey, it's a mix of the two, you know what I mean? Got a little shimmy dance going on, plus it's because my chair's about to fall apart. I'm going to try some different throne. You don't get the throne. Hey, can I get this going here? Hey, here's some national headlines we're going to get to. We have the Securing America segment here at 8:30. That's a brand new segment of the show. It's going to be fantastic. Let's see. Here's some other headlines, though. I really want to get to this story because I'm pretty sure this is going to be the next thing that breaks. Obviously, Trump's talking about the FISA court warrants that are going to be released. All that stuff's coming down the pipe. Good. Gang of Eight, Woods trial. That's all fantastic. Devin Nunes says he's now prepared to deliver criminal referrals after Trump vows to release these FISA documents. That's great. But I think the biggest thing that's going to hit either beforehand or the one that's actually going to carry the most weight. And I know people want to hear the FISA court stuff. I get that because those are brand new allegations. But that's also going to bring up a lot of stuff of the interconnectivity of James Comey at the time being the individual that was supposed to look after the Uranium One deal. He was the FBI prosecutor that was supposed to look after that. It's also going to bring up some stuff of Rod Rosenstein and his connection with the tax division of the DOJ. It's also going to bring up some stuff of, Robert Mueller was the head of the FBI at the time when all the... Here's the problem, though, with some of that stuff that the FISA stuff is going to pour back into is Democrats are going to claim, and possibly rightfully so, That all this stuff has been litigated already. We've had how many investigations were there into Benghazi? Y'all can fill in the blank. How many investigations were there into the Uranium One thing? How many investigations were there into the Clinton Foundation? They're going to bring that up as if it's already been looked into. Now, granted, every time Republicans try and make that claim, it doesn't necessarily matter. Well, give me one more special counsel. That's all we need. Now, what I think is going to be one of the bigger stories that comes up is this one that John Solomon reported on over a week ago now. As Russia collusion fades, Ukrainian plot to help Clinton emerges. Now, I'm telling y'all, you want a good look as to what collusion with a foreign entity looks like? You don't have to look any further as to how Ukraine tried to help Hillary Clinton. And actually did. More on that later. We also have more from Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, or just Alexandria Cortez for those that are in the know. She rails against overpriced croissants at LaGuardia, saying that a $7 croissant is too much, and also going on to harp something about this is the need for $15 minimum wage, as if $15 minimum wage is going to decrease the price of croissants. I'm not exactly sure her plan there. Also, a headline on Politico that's trending right now is that Trump punts healthcare until 2020. I kind of think that's a decent strategy. I do. I mean, he could get away with it right now, but stressing healthcare so hard currently is really just going to give Democrats their hot button issue when there's literally nothing else for them to talk about. I mean, there's so many. This leads perfectly to another national headline right now. Biden defending interaction with women after complaint. Connecticut woman said, this is another headline from Current. Connecticut woman says that then Vice President Joe Biden touched her inappropriately at Greenwich fundraiser in 2009. Did I not tell y'all? I told you we're going to have to deal with creepy Uncle Joe. Now, again, to be fair, it's not exactly like Republicans can make a better claim on our side. But, however, it is not Republicans that are attacking Joe Biden right now. This is after the Me Too movement. Do you know what I'm saying? That crest has already swelled and came down. That crest had not... We didn't know about what the oncoming Weinstein wave was prior to electing President Trump. So this criticism of Joe Biden is not coming from the right. It could, but we'd have to answer for our own supposed moral indiscretions or our own supposed moral concessions. This is coming from the leftist Democrats. And I told y'all from day one, if you keep pushing Joe Biden, eventually some Democrat out there somewhere is going to get wise to all these creepy stuff he's done. He's creepy Uncle Joe, man. He's creepy Uncle Joe. It's not just women that are being touched inappropriately. It's also little kids that don't exactly like being kissed on the mouth. It's little kids that don't like their shoulders being massaged. I don't know, man. It's weird. Here's another headline I may want to get to today. Arizona parents who defied doctor's orders to bring a sick 2-year-old to the hospital now face child abuse charges. What do y'all think about that? Child abuse charges for parents that don't want to take their child to a hospital to seek medical attention. I mean, is that a version of child abuse? I know vaccines may be one thing. It's not necessarily in the conversation of vaccines, but it's in that same ballpark, you feel me? Vaccines is one thing because there's nothing really there yet. However, let's say your child comes down with, I don't know, measles or mumps, or let's say your child has cancer. As a strict libertarian, what would you say? Is that a version of child abuse to not go seek medical attention? At least Western medical attention, let's say that. We also have Democrats prepare for subpoenas for full Mueller report. Democrats obviously begin subpoenas here. And, and my favorite one, out of all the people that are in the deep dive to the progressive cesspool going on right now, oddly enough, Bernie Sanders is the one that's... I can't even finish the sentence. It's true. It's not like it's a belated, what's this, the second now? It's not like this is a belated April Fool's headline. Bernie Sanders now is the reasonable one of the Democrat Party running for president when he says, is a Fox News headline, Bernie Sanders of all people, warns against increase in Supreme Justice and term limits for Supreme Court justices. So Bernie Sanders is the one that's saying, maybe we shouldn't pack the court because that didn't work out too well for us last time. Maybe we shouldn't consider term limits for the Supreme Court justices because, there's several hundred years of precedent to tell us otherwise. With that being said, can I have about 2 minutes here, Sarah, just to play this clip? I want to play it again when we come back. I'll just play the beginning of this. No? You want to hit the break? Sarah says, let's hit the break. We'll hit the break. I'll set this up. What we're going to come back with, City Councilwoman of the 1st District, Stephanie Welch, again, does an interview on Hubert Smith's show. Great interview that Hubert Smith did. Hubert Smith's been in the industry for far too long to even account for right now. Incredible host. But I'll let you make your own claim for it. She basically, what is this clip? It's 3 minutes long, so it's a good thing we're not doing it now, Sarah. She basically makes the claim, we need to obviously consider recode. We need to accept and like recode. And more importantly, we need to get our heads around the idea of, no, we shouldn't be able to drive our own cars. We need to rely upon public transportation. I don't know how y'all feel about that. I'm kind of just here to put this information out there. 865-888-TALK, 865-888-8255, or hit me up on Facebook. We'll interact with those comments there. Hit this break right now. News break. Come back with coverage on the local stuff. Be right back.
Connor Pierce? Alright, let's finish setting this studio up. My poor chair. It's dying. It's dying. My chair. Alright. Mr. Trump hat, you're making America worse again. You can go right there. And Putin, baby, you can go right there. Come on, Putin, baby, work with me. Come on, Putin, baby. Yep, I suppose that'll do. That'll do, pig. Remember that movie, y'all? Yeah? Let's see, we can put Trump the clown nose there. Yeah, that looks good. And, where's this guy go? Making out with Trump. Putin making out with Trump. That looks sweet. Real nice. Facebook, I missed y'all. My phone's about to die.
On RICO?
That's a big question.
Yeah.
Where do I stand on it? Sometimes I stand
What
on
do
top
you think about it?
Sometimes I stand on top of all the drafts so that I can reach things in
Well,
the
let me
top.
ask you this. Well, let me ask you this way. Let me ask you this way. A simple question.
Yes.
Do we need it?
The update of the zoning ordinance?
Yes.
100% absolutely yes, we need it. The zoning ordinance hasn't been updated in, more than 50 years. It was developed at a very different time in our history. I think the biggest thing to me that has changed is we really built it around a certain mode of transportation and separated a lot of uses so that people were not living and working in the same areas. We're running out of land. So providing the ability for people to live and work in the same general vicinity through mixed-use development is a big piece of recode. That probably is the biggest change right now, is allowing for residential use on commercial corridors. But then there are lots of other things that change over time that I think it's just time to take a look at it. And I actually feel good about the draft. It's not going to be perfect, and I think we'll adopt it with some changes. And just like the last zoning ordinance, there will have to be amendments along the way.
You just said something that I think was profound, and you're not the first person to make the statement, but it's something that Victor Ashe used to say, obviously more than 16 years ago. They're not growing any more land.
Yep.
That's just a fact.
And we can't annex.
Yeah.
We can't annex
Right.
anymore. So if we are going to accommodate a growing population, as much as it is a little anxiety provoking to think about additional changes in our community, that is something that we have to look at. Where are we going to put people, and how are we going to do that in a smart way that helps our community have a good quality of life?
Right.
And I'm going to preface this comment. We've got less than 2 minutes, so just go ahead and start the music there, Natalie, and we'll know to start being quiet whenever it's time. So I'm going to preface this with my bias. How do we get people to understand that taking public transportation is a good thing?
Well,
Provided you think it's a good thing.
I absolutely think it's a good thing, and nobody will like my answer on this, but I think you have to make it harder for people to drive. When it is so...
I don't know, man. I feel like they tried that in France. You understand where I'm coming from? Like, I don't know, man. I have not been a city council person. I do not pretend to understand local government better than Stephanie Welch does. I don't. I'm just looking at the grand scale of things, and I'm just thinking to myself, you can piss off a lot. You can piss off a lot of French people. May not be that much more difficult to upset a lot of people in East Tennessee. I don't know. I'm just saying. What else am I doing? Good. Settle for 10% of what is owed. Say it ain't so. Hey, y'all think it's unfair to whip on this lady when she's not even here? I don't. She said it. I just don't think she would, I don't know, Stephanie. I'm not sure if she'd ever really be inclined to come on our program and say the same things. You know what I mean? Is that bad? Why can't all the city council just be Perez? I don't agree with her at all. At least she stands up for what she believes in. That's bad to say, man. I don't know if this other person isn't. I take it back. I take it back. I recant. What else am I doing? Uh-oh. Caller already? Shoo! Alright, I think I'm good. Come on. Facebook. Alright. Alright. I think I'm ready. Oh, and a color line too? Dude. Is my hair really doing all this?
Smokies opening day is Thursday. I just want to let you know.
This Thursday?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Was it MLB opening day was last week?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
Yes, MLB was.
All right. So I was pretty close.
Okay.
By a week. He's a kind.
I didn't want you to make a fool of yourself.
No, I do all the time, man. I got no problem. Hey, welcome back, everybody. By everybody, I mean all those in Knoxville, because that's where you're hearing my terrestrial voice. All those in Tennessee and this nation, if you want, check out our app. That's my favorite way to listen to all the programs on 92.3 and AM 760. Just type in Talk Radio 92.3 Knoxville, all those words. Talk Radio 92.3 Knoxville. Usually the first and only thing that comes up in your app search bar. Whether you have Android or which is, I think, a Google product, or Apple, or get a Windows phone, or even some Amazon, or I don't know. Someone even told me one time, too, that we're even on the, like, Alexa stuff. Who knows? Who knows? All right, so what I'm talking about now, man, the phone lines are just blowing up. I don't know if it's blowing up for some of the national headlines I just read, or if it's for this RICO stuff that we're about to get back into. Let me see if I can find some comments from Facebook here. Facebook comments are awesome. Kelly made a comment, I think, before on one of the headlines that I brought up, the national headline of this individual. Here we go. Arizona parents who defied doctor's orders to bring sick 2-year-old to the hospital now facing new charges. Her comment was something to the effect of, look, parents know best, okay? Parents know best for their child. And I think that would be the libertarian answer to most of these things, would it not? Oh, now you're going to not work with me, Facebook, huh? Hey, and can I get this computer going here? Yeah. As we get these calls ready, we got Stimpy. I'm not sure who's on line 2 or line 3, but y'all hang on. We'll get your screen here. Let me set up what I'm talking about here right now. And again, this is coming from Hubert Smith's program over the weekend. Mr. Adams, by the way, just came in here and said, hey, I just didn't want you to make a fool of yourself on air. The Smokies opening day is this Thursday coming up. I told Mr. Adams, hey, man, dude, I make a fool of myself every single day on air. No problem at all. I said opening day was last week. I think that was MLB opening day. Smokies opening day is this Thursday, just to clarify. So somebody's listening right now is like, yeah, Mr. Henry, get it right. You should know the Smokies. Anyways, back to what we're talking about here. A little bit of recode stuff. For those that are bored by the recode stuff or just had enough of it, I get it. I understand. There's a lot of other stuff going on nationally. There's maybe some other stuff going on locally. But what I wanted to preface this whole thing with is I think this next interview will be very interesting with Stephanie Welch on Hubert Smith's program. Again, Hubert Smith does an incredible job during this interview, I believe. I'm not exactly sure if our audience is just a sort of a niche audience, right? If our audience happens to be the most vocal about this issue. And I say that I genuinely don't know. I seriously do not know. Because the only time I've ever heard this other covered is on what? Knox Compass or Knox TN Today. We've had, Della Volpe in here. We've had a few other people in here, a few other journalists in here. But by and large, it's not really been touched all that often. I think the other talk station in town brought it up on a single occasion in the afternoon program. I'll just say it. Triple H brought it up one time. And it wasn't exactly the same. The pitch on his program was not exactly the same as to what our audience members feel. I don't want to belabor this any longer. Let me just play the entire clip for you. I might pause in between to give you some mic commentary. I may just go to, wow, we got Stimpy, JB, and Recode Mike all on it. Listen to this. I'm pretty sure all three of these guys can hear it on air. Again, this is Hubert Smith talking to City Councilwoman Stephanie Welch, 1st District. Here we go.
On Recode.
Yeah, where do I stand on it? Sometimes I stand on top.
What do you think about it?
Sometimes I stand on top of all the drafts so that I can reach things in the
Let me
top.
ask you this one. Let me ask you this way.
Yes.
The simple question.
Yes.
Do we need it?
The update of the zoning ordinance?
Yes.
100% absolutely yes, we need it. The zoning ordinance hasn't been updated in, more than 50 years.
Again, already, and this is only a 3-minute clip, so I don't want to pause and do all this stuff too much so I can get to some of these calls. We may go into the 8 o'clock hour with this. I'm not sure. I don't know if that's a reasonable argument. Just because it hasn't been updated in 50 years, I'm not exactly. There's a logical disconnect there. You know what I'm saying? I'm just looking at that. I've said this off air to Facebook. I'm not a city council person. I do not pretend to understand local government in any capacity, either that a Hubert Smith does or that a Stephanie Welch does or a Simi Singh Perez or any of these people on city council or Gerald Green or any of these folks. I don't know the intricacies of how local government works as well as they do. I get that. But just from an objective outsider's perspective, I'm not exactly sure that it's a logically coherent argument to say that it needs to be changed just because it hasn't been changed in 50 years. Now, that's not to say if it's not, broken, don't fix it type thing. That's not what I'm saying. I need some other further version of justification to completely do a comprehensive overhaul for 73,000 plots of land, 80 of which are residential, just because we haven't done it in 50 years. You know what I'm saying? Maybe that's true. Maybe it is. I just need something to fill in those logical blanks for me. Continue on.
It was developed at a very different time in our history. I think the biggest thing to me that has changed is we really built it around a certain mode of transportation and separated a lot of uses so that people were not living and working in the same areas. We're running out of land, so providing the ability for people to live and work in the same general vicinity through mixed-use development is a big piece of Recode. That probably is the biggest change right now, is allowing for residential use on commercial corridors. But then there are lots of other things that change over time that I think it's just time to take a look at it. And I actually feel good about the draft. It's not going to be perfect, and I think we'll adopt it with some changes. And just like the last zoning ordinance, there will have to be amendments along the way.
You just said something that I think was profound, and you're not the first person to make the statement, but it's something that Victor Ashe used to say, obviously more than 16 years ago. They're not growing any more land. You know, and that's just a fact.
And we can't annex.
Yeah.
We can't annex
Right.
anymore. So if we are going to accommodate a growing population, as much as it is a little anxiety provoking to think about additional, changes in our community, that is something that we have to look at. Where are we going to put people, and how are we going to do that in a smart way that helps our community have a good quality of life?
Now, I'm going to preface this comment. We've got less than 2 minutes, so just go ahead and start the music there, Nathalie. We'll know to start being quiet whenever it's time. So I'm going to preface this with my bias. How do we get people to understand that taking public transportation is a good thing?
Well,
Providing you think is a good thing.
I absolutely think it's a good thing, and nobody will like my answer on this, but I think you have to make it harder for people to drive.
All right, that's the part. I'll back it up one more time. That's the part that I want people's opinions on. One more time.
Whenever it's time. So I'm going to preface this with my bias. How do we get people to understand that taking public transportation is a good thing?
Well,
Providing you think is a good thing.
I absolutely think it's a good thing, and nobody will like my answer on this, but I think you have to make it harder for people to drive. When it is so much easier to get in your car and drive, people don't take public transportation. That really is what it comes down to. So
Yeah.
I think we have some people.
No, I mean, look, again, one more time, I'm not on city council. I don't understand the intricacies of how local government works, like the Stephanie Welch does, like a Sima Singh Perez does, like a Gerald Green does, or for that matter, even like a Hubert Smith does. And Hubert Smith, I think, was very careful here, too, not to express his actual opinion on the thing. He qualified it by saying, depending on, this whole thing is contingent upon, this whole Rico Knoxville is contingent upon people preferring public transportation as opposed to their own private means of transportation. But what do you think about that, Councilwoman, Stephanie Welch? And she says straight up, I think we need to basically convince people not to drive their own cars. Now, all I'm saying is, looking at a global scale, a sort of a macro level, I don't know how this works at a micro level in Knoxville. Looking at a macro level, it didn't exactly work out too well for France. With that being said, let me go to JB, give him about 2 to 3 minutes here before we hit this break. I'll go to Stimpy and Rico and Michael after that. JB, what's on your mind, sir?
How much time do I have?
I can hold you over the break if you need to, but about 2 or 3 minutes till we hit this first break.
Okay, first of all, let's just say that what Ms. Welch said, we've wondered all along. They said, we need this for density and more taxes. Density and higher taxes. Density and higher taxes. Density and higher taxes. Who wants density and higher taxes? Well, they do. They want it. Now, because this is part of their sustainability plan for building a new perfect city, a new city. Density and higher taxes. Now, do the citizens want density and higher taxes? Probably not, but they do. And now we always ask, who really wants this and why? They have this vision of a new city. Density and higher taxes. Now, I would say to you, these people don't care much about your property rights because they're determined to give you this new city of Oz that they dream of, whether you like it or not. And they'll say, oh, we've got to update this and do this. We'll do a couple of tweaks. The whole idea was to throw the entire thing out, 50 years of case law and all the contracts of zoning that protected people over the years. Now they're beginning to tell the truth about it. Ms. Welch tells the truth. They're trying to affect your freedom to use your automobile. They see the automobile as their enemy. Now, you may agree, but my thought is this. If you want me to drive less, persuade me. Don't put a gun to my head and say, I must drive less. I must walk. As our population gets older, they're unable to walk and ride bicycles and tricycles and rickshaws and all these people want us to ride. These people love bicycles and rickshaws and they want to do hand carts. Let them do it. But that'll kind of force people, older people, as we age in place, to follow this, who don't like public transportation, they don't want to ride it, but they want to make you ride it. See, this notion of this paternalism, of forcing us to do something, they want to take your property rights and they want to take away your right to drive your car and live your life the way you want to. Maybe you'd want to live in Oz. We don't want to live in this city. Maybe we'd like, I don't know, maybe you'd like to live the way we'd like to live. Not have these people impose their plan on us. Now, Mrs. Welch was a member of the so-called stakeholders group, a group of advocates and highly motivated sustainability people who got into this group in 2016. Then she ran for city council to promote this RICO nonsense. Just as Charles Lomax, who's an NPC member, is going to run for city council to push RICO nonsense. Why? This is how they get their new city, their density. their density, their increase in population. And they're not telling us how much it's going to cost us. They're not telling us how quality of life. They're not telling us anything about this, but they want this. They're going to put, one thing about East Tennesseans, our knees don't bend too easily. We don't bend that knee too easy. Now, let me say this.
Hey, JB, just let you know we got to hit this break, so I'll give you about 15 more seconds if you can. I don't want to push Sarah too much longer. Sorry about that, sir, but go ahead.
15 seconds.
I know, man. I'm sorry.
Why do we only get 15, 20, or 2 or 3 minutes? What is this?
I got to hit these breaks. I'll tell you, man, if you got something else to say, I can hold you over the break if you want to hold on for me. That works, too.
Save our right, save our property rights, save our right to drive, and this paternalistic desire to tell us how we've got to live, reject it. I think you read Steve Hunley's article in the Focus that was on Monday. We may have to put this to a ballot proposition. The city council should put this on the ballot. Let the people decide this, not these paternalistic, the wink and a nod paternalists who want to tell us how to live. That'll handle it.
I hear you. JB, thanks for the call, sir. Hey, there goes JB, 7:50 in the morning. Hit this break, come back with Stimpy and then Rico. Be right back.
Be happy. Don't worry. Be happy now.
Not enough time, man. Not enough time. Need more time. Give me that time. Best talk in Knoxville. What do y'all think? You think that's us? I think so. Whoa. Oh, another call. I'm not going to be able to get to these folks. Doesn't it feel better to stretch if you yell while you're doing it? Is that just me? Stay. Someone that attorney, somebody living in one of the more affluent areas that this actually might affect. They'll listen to those folks, that's for sure. The fundraisers, the fund donors, the captains of re-election. They might listen to them. Y'all been listening to Ben Shapiro at all? What do you think of him? Yay, nay? What you say? How about I go eat some hay? I just bay. What do you say? RC? Ray, what do you do, man? You just bounce back and forth between RC and Ray? Facebook. I got Connor Pierce from the Smokies in at 8. Then I have that Simon Roach guest at 9. So I may have to pick this back up again at 8:15, 8:30. If folks is still into it. Who knows? Hey, at 7:53
in the morning, let me go straight into the Crown Plaza call number here. Listen, Stimpy, Rico, Mike, and Roberta, I have Connor Pierce from the Tennessee Smokies in at 8 o'clock. Probably going to be about a segment three of y'all right now during this break. It might be difficult to do, being that I like to give people as much time as possible on here on this program. Make sure to keep your comment on the tip of your tongue. Give me a call back around 8:15, 8:30. We'll get that going. We also have Simon Roach here talking about South African stuff at 9. With that being said, let's go to Stimpy here. About 3 or 4 minutes left here, Stimpy. I may give you the rest of the time, see if I can get Roberta and Rico and Mike to give me a call back. What's on your mind, sir?
All right. Well, I'm going to try to go and keep this a little bit short, just because there's so much information on this. But when we start looking at this recode, what we have to understand is that this is an onion. It works in many, many different layers. First layer started with ICLEI coming into Knoxville in 2007, 2008, if memory serves me.
And I hate doing this, Stimpy, real quick. ICLEI, just for those that don't know, suffice it to say, it's basically just the local government organization that implants the Agenda 2030 of local areas, right? I mean, that's pretty decent. But you say ICLEI a lot, and I think people don't know what you're talking about sometimes. Not the real news audience, people listening the first time. Sorry, man. Go ahead, though.
Yes, and you are correct. And for everyone that's listening, if this is your first time, ICLEI is spelled ICLEI. And it says local government, but for some odd reason, our local government is apparently located in Germany. So we need to start looking at that. It was actually established by the United Nations. Well, once that actually got our palate to warm up a little bit, then we actually start working on this entire rewrite. You know what? Our Constitution is over 200 years old. I think it's time we completely scrap that whole idea and rewrite it as well while we're at it. So we can actually look at that throughout our recent, past 10, 15 years and see how that's been going. But in addition to that, now you start looking at the additional layers that actually complement this Recode Knoxville. There is the Agenda 2040 Mobility Action Plan that compensates the entire purpose of Recode. And within this, it actually states how we're going to achieve all of this. And within it, it actually has the outline of basically taking all of these properties, and they're basically identifying how wasteful we actually are with our own property. Because they go through the numbers and they compare those numbers with Chicago, Illinois, as well as Austin, Texas. And I was actually shut down at the city workshop for mentioning this information with Agenda 2030. But they actually pull this information directly off of their stats on saying what they're utilizing for density. So what they're wanting to achieve is as much as 10 properties per 1 acre, because they're talking about how wasteful we are with basically, I believe it was 2.95 people per acre for the city of Knoxville.
Hey, and Stimpy, let me do this, man. We got to hit this break. It says news, traffic, weather things, and cuts us off even if I don't want to. Do this for me, though, man. Keep this on the edge of your tongue and give me a call back. I want to say 8:15. I might do one segment with Smokies, or I might do 2. We'll figure it out. It's either 8:15, 8:30. I'll let you know. We'll pick this back up for about another half hour. We'll get you back then. Does that sound good?
That sounds excellent. And I have to give a personal thanks to Recode Michael, because I got this information from him, and he is much more articulate with his wording, and I would like him to expand on this when he calls back in, and then I'll call in afterwards, because if it wasn't for the work that this gentleman has done, I would not have half the knowledge that I actually have after looking over all this information.
I got you, Stimpy.
I just want that to be said, and I'll go ahead and let you go.
All right, buddy.
I'm going to keep listening.
All right, there goes Stimpy. We'll let Stimpy go. 7:58. Stick around for news, traffic, weather, all that. Smokies, when we come back, a little bit more on Recode. What do you think about, hey, don't drive your cars anymore because public transportation is what you need? So says City Councilwoman Stephanie Welch. Be right back.
Hold the milk, put back the sugar.
All right, Facebook. Rich, what's up, buddy? Yeah, man. Hey, thanks for covering for me again. I need to have it for you and me on a show one day, man. I know the audience would like that. I'll tell you, it would be a great show, I think, if we had 4 or 5 hours. Even 3 hours would be fantastic. You, me, and what's his name, Mark? I think that'd be incredible. Especially if you were talking about Brexit for an hour or two. That'd be great, man. People need some international stuff. How do you know that Mark guy? Is that his name, Rich? Mark? Pretty sure that's his name. All right. This is the guy that we have on Sweetlanders. How do you pronounce this? What's up? Hey, I'm gonna go take a bathroom break real quick. You set yourself up there if you want to. Coffee?
Oh.
I should get me some coffee. I'm gonna leave the Facebook audience with, by the way, we're live over there.
Okay.
With a clip from a guy we have at 9, talking about the white genocide in South Africa.
Yeah.
So be ready for that, bro.
Yeah.
How you going, by the way?
How did you get to the solution that preparation for
I'll be right back in a minute, Facebook.
is the way to go forward?
Just like you, right-wingers in Sweden, you predict many things that have come true over and over and over again. And people laugh at you, you know. It comes true over and eventually you're nearly mad that people can't see this obvious thing. And it's similar for us. For a long time, we've been predicting a crisis in South Africa. Now it's at the point where, for example, our president speaks openly. On the 6th of January 2015, he said at a banquet dinner in Cape Town, all of the problems of South Africa can be traced back to the arrival of whites on the 6th of April 1652. And as a black man said to me, what he means in African idiom, the way we hear what he's saying, is if there were no whites here, there would be no problems in this country. So the solution is to get rid of the whites.
Is this payback for apartheid?
I don't know if it's payback for apartheid. I think that there are, or we Suidlanders, let's say this, under the guidance of our senior leader, our founder, Gustav Muller, I think we are those people who can see that whether it's payback or not payback is a sort of an instinct that's being encouraged by a hidden hand. And you know, now it starts to sound a little bit crazy, hidden hand and secret forces and what have you. But people are being told that if they take from the whites, everything will be okay. Is it just a payback for apartheid? I think there's more to it than that.
So, in your words, why would you say that the black politician in the ANC doesn't listen to the white man's needs in this country?
Because it's not in their interest to do so. You know, there is a phenomenon in Africa where it is considered sensible to have 100% of 10 rather than 10% of 1 million. If everything crumbles and there is an elite of people that just own what remains, owns the aid that comes in from Denmark and the support from the United Nations and this kind of thing, then it's okay. This is an African cultural phenomenon. And when I say that, people must be conscious that the term that is used when addressing this did not come from right-wingers. It's a liberal term and an African term. The African big man. One big man in charge of everything. So why would you look after the interests of your rival, these whites, competing centers of power? No, it's not in their interest. People say, but they will never kill the goose that lays the golden egg. You know this fairy tale. For sure they will kill the goose that lays the golden egg. Because he's laying golden eggs. And because everybody loves this goose. It is difficult to convey these concepts to people who are not familiar with African values and African norms and African culture and African traditions, because it is very typical of Europeans and North Americans to see things only in their own way. You know, they cannot comprehend that other cultures have complete different values.
When did this start? Did it start with the takeover of ANC with Nelson Mandela?
Yes, certainly it did. Prior to that, it was clear that there were some strong globalist forces acting in South Africa. But if you talk about the Africanist aspect of things, then it began when the opportunity was created in 1994. Look, one of the first things that the African National Congress did was a massive arms deal that was supposed to cost $5 billion. And now I think the price is at $55 billion. And the corruption associated with it is unbelievable. You know, some things were multiplied in price 10 times. And we speak now about Saab, Gripen jets, you know,
Yep.
and other companies, but you're Swedish. I'll give you another example. It's not quite the same thing, but it will maybe help people to understand. When I was at university, the ANC, this is prior to the first multiracial democratic elections of 1994, on the universities, the ANC would say, non-racism, non-sexism, non-tribalism. You know, when we're in charge, it's going to be a utopia. In the second ANC cabinet, government cabinet, it was almost 60% from one tribe, Nelson Mandela's people.
And which tribe was that?
The Xhosa people. He, strictly speaking, was not exactly Xhosa. He was from the Abatembu people, but this thing of non-tribalism, as long as it sounds good, we'll say that. But when the time comes and we need to make a government, then we bring in our buddies.
And what do you say to those people that actually fought for equal opportunity in this country?
I think that they did a good thing. I fought for equal opportunity in this country. I'm one of those people who said, if we can all have a place in the sunshine, and it can be wonderful, let's do it. Let's try to cooperate. And for many years, I was the, almost you can say, tame white boy who was willing to share knowledge and to help and to do projects for the government, to do what was right.
How about you?
Good, man.
Come on. Yeah, I guess we'll just do this like normal. Probably recap last season's some, see how that went.
Yeah, we just released our roster yesterday too.
Oh yeah?
We can talk about that if you want to.
All right. Yeah, we'll talk about new roster, players looking forward to, what the season's looking like now.
Yep.
Obviously, opening day Thursday.
Yep.
Yeah.
We actually play Walter State in an exhibition game tomorrow.
Oh yeah?
Yeah.
Okay. We can talk about that some.
Yeah.
Talk about. I want to give you an opportunity to introduce. I mean, obviously your official title there.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah.
College affiliation, all that nonsense. You know.
Yeah. I'll just
do what we
go
do.
with it.
Hey, welcome back to Real News, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mr. Henry. This is Real News. I said that already, didn't I? Because I said welcome back to Real News. Yeah? I think that fully encompasses the fact that this is Real News when I say welcome back to Real News. But who knows? You know what I mean?
Some people just really need.
Yeah. They need the reinforcement. That's right. Yeah, that's right. Hey, we got a great guest in the studio. Go ahead and introduce yourself to our audience. Tell us the official title you have with the Smokies.
Yeah, my name is Connor Pierce. I am the marketing and community relations manager with the Tennessee Smokies baseball team.
And let me just. Responsibility, say, the Smokies organization has over the players that are on the field, the lineup, the coaching. That's all Cubs, yeah?
Yeah, correct. So the easiest way to explain it is basically all the business operations. That's what we handle. All the player operations is right through the Cubs. So assigning what players are where, that's all through Chicago. They hire the managers, the trainers, all that stuff, and then the managers make the decision on the lineup for each day.
Right. And it's better to say it's all through the Cubs. People may not like Chicago around here.
Right.
I'm just messing. Hey, but we have you on right now. It's opening day on Thursday, yeah?
Yep, opening night on Thursday, 7 p.m. We actually kick off the season tomorrow night with the exhibition game against Walter State Community College.
Okay.
So pretty unique there. We haven't done that in a few years. Ever since I've been with the team in 2015, we've not done an exhibition game, so pretty unique. Walter State is actually a pretty good baseball team.
Okay.
So it should be a lot of fun.
I was gonna say, man, how's that usually go? Is it like a college team playing a high school team?
We'll see. I mean, I think it's a good way just to get all the players, getting to play with each other, because they've all been in spring training, so
Right.
who knows if they've gotten to really play with each other a whole lot. So this is kind of the first time where they'll all really get to play a full game with each other. So.
What's the difference in talent look like when you're going from a Walter State to a Smokies? Is it substantial?
Yeah, I'd say size is probably the biggest thing. You'll see a lot of the professional baseball players are pretty bulked up, because a lot of them have been to college, or if they went straight from high school, they've been on a pretty strenuous workout program with the Chicago Cubs since then, and the pitching is pretty significant
Right.
as well. Because you got some of these guys throwing 95 plus miles an hour.
Here's a stupid question, man. What does the drug testing look like in Smokies? I mean, because you look at a Barry Bonds or something, you're like, all right, bro, come on, man.
Yeah.
From an early, younger Barry Bonds, you know what I mean?
So it's actually all handled through minor league baseball and major league baseball. They do drug testing throughout the year for every player with all affiliations. So luckily, we don't have to handle that, but they are all drug tested for sure.
Rich is saying on Facebook, my wife's from Chicago area and loves the Smokies. Come on, man, don't hate on Chicago. I'm not, man. Come on, I'm not hating on the Cubs. It's just Chicago, dude. Come on, you know what I mean. Anyways, Bob's saying on Facebook too. I'm a Walter State alum. Hey, how did last season go for the Smokies?
Yeah, it was pretty good. We did not make the playoffs, unfortunately, but new year this year. We just released our roster yesterday, so hoping to build off of it and have a better year this year. We got a brand new manager, Jimmy Gonzalez, who's been with South Bend the past 4 years. Will be making his debut with the Smokies this year.
Before we get into what the roster looks like for the season coming up, what does the playoff system for the Smokies look like?
Yeah, so basically there's 4 teams total that are selected. Basically, you either have to win the first half of the season or the second half of the season, and then it's selected from there. 2 teams from each, so North and South Division. So you have 4 teams total. So 4 teams out of 10 teams make it.
Okay.
And it's been a little bit since we've made it. But like I said, looking forward to the new season this year, so hopefully we can get in.
What is the new lineup difference look like? I mean, any major players are like really Smokies fans should be paying attention to?
Yeah, I think one to be really excited about is Nico Horner. He's the number 2 Cubs prospect. So he's pretty young, 21 years old, went to Stanford. Really good player, infielder for us. Like I said, he's the number 2 prospect in the entire Cubs organization. So that's one to be really excited about. He hasn't even played a full season of minor league baseball yet, and he's already in Double-A.
Oh, wow.
Which is very promising.
How old is he?
21.
Cool. 21, man. You said he's an infielder, yeah?
Yep.
What position in particular?
Shortstop, I believe.
Okay. What does that look like for the Smokies going forward? Is there an option where if he's just like balling out this season, could he be taken up early? And
luckily, like I said, that's out of our hands.
Right,
That's in the Cubs' hands.
Yeah.
But it definitely could happen. I mean, you look back in 2015, my first year with the team, Kyle Schwarber was kind of the same situation, pretty young, right out of Indiana University. Started playing really well in the first half. He actually got called up straight to the big leagues from Double-A. So it definitely could happen. You never know, especially with injuries at the major league level. You never know who they're going to call up. But definitely if he makes a difference here, I could see a fast moving up to the major leagues.
One thing I really like about the Smokies as well is, look, a great American pastime, right? Baseball. This new generation, though, is everything's all clickbait. Everything's ADHD. Everything's 10-second little snap bites.
Right.
You got Snapchat. Yeah, I mean, everything is literally instantaneous in your face. And when you're done with it, you're done. Vine is a thing, by the way. Vine was a thing, right? There's 6-second videos, right?
Yeah, exactly.
And you try and pitch baseball to an older generation. The reason why I bring it up that way is that Smokies does an incredible job of literally filling in every single second in between those innings. There's always something going on, man. What does opening day look like? Any events going on? Or?
Yeah, so like you're saying, it's not just baseball. It's entertainment out there for sure. It's a great way for all ages to get out there. We have the kids zone. We have all the food and drink you could think of. A lot of fun stuff. Always fun promotions, of course. On opening night, we're giving away a free magnet schedule, doing the same thing on Friday night. And then Saturday night, we're doing a 20th anniversary T-shirt giveaway to the first 1,000 fans.
Oh,
so
nice.
We're celebrating our 20th anniversary at Smoky Stadium this year.
Man, I was recording some of these promos. Actually, you can see that on YouTube if you want to. Just type in Real News Radio. It's one of this station things. It's about an hour long of me trying to get through some of these promos. And actually, Spence came in later on.
Yeah.
One of them in particular is quite hilarious, if I do say so myself. But one of them was free beer night. You know anything about this free beer night?
I do.
What is that about? Dude, honestly, I was in the middle of reading this free beer night thing, and I stopped halfway through and I said, "There's no way.
Yeah,
Come
you're
on,
like,
dude.
what?
Come on,
Free
Yeah,
beer.
right.
Those don't go together, right?
It's not a thing, right?
No, so we actually introduced that last year for the first time, bringing it back this year because it was so much fun. So what it is basically a fan, of course, 21 years or older, has to purchase a refillable mason jar, which is just $10. And it's good for the entire year for $4 refills. But when you purchase that, you get free beer on that specific night, free beer night, until the opposing team scores the first run. So at first pitch, 7 p.m., it starts. You can go get as much free beer as you want, draft beer in that mason jar, until the opposing team scores the first run. So last year, we had a little shake-up. The opposing team scored on their second batter.
Okay.
So we threw the fans a bone a little bit. We let it go all the way until the third inning.
Yeah.
Because we wanted to get their money's worth, obviously. But
I mean, if you ever want to see a no-hitter, though,
yeah.
that's the night you want to see no-hitter.
The fans were not happy when that player crossed the plate. That's for sure.
You have some alcoholics out there to tackle someone on the line from third to home. I'm getting my free beer, bro.
Yeah.
You also have a Star Wars night, too.
Oh,
right?
yeah. We love our Star Wars night. That's one of our favorites. The characters will be out there. We give away free lightsabers to the first 1,000 kids. So,
oh, that's cool.
Yeah, it's a really cool night. We'll have fireworks that night. That'll be our first fireworks show of the year. And they're all themed to basically with the promotion, the fireworks is themed to that kind of music. So it'll be themed to Star Wars music. We have a lot of fun promotions. UT night, that's always a fun one for us. We're doing an Orlando trip giveaway this year. So we're giving away some airfare, some theme park tickets, all of that. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
And the Friday and Saturday nights, they have, tell me if I'm wrong, into fireworks on Friday and Saturday nights?
Yeah, so we have our summer fireworks series. So beginning every Friday and Saturday on May 24th through about the middle to late July. Can't remember the exact date, but all the way basically from right in the middle of summer when the kids are out of school pretty much every Friday and Saturday home game, we're going to have fireworks.
Man, that's incredible. Man, it really is just an entire night of entertainment from beginning to end. Like I said, everybody's been to Smokies games and knows what I'm talking about. I'm really just talking to the folks that haven't ventured up there to go see a game. It literally is they have taco eating contests in the middle of it. They have, announcements. They have all the stuff they try to get us involved with when we're out there. Yeah. Let me ask you too, that little pitching machine they have back there.
Oh, yeah.
Y'all ever kept tabs on what the fastest sort of amateur pitch is?
I've walked out there and seen mid-80s.
Really?
Yeah.
That's not bad.
Some kids can bring it.
Well, it's like a Smokies changeup, though, isn't it?
Right. Yeah.
I was gonna say. Yeah. All right, let me finish up this segment by asking, what then is let's see the best way to say it. What's the likelihood of Smokies taking it this year? Is there a couple teams in particular all right, those are the Patriots of this league, man. We really need to look out for them type thing.
The Braves are usually pretty good. The Biscuits are usually pretty good.
Biscuits?
Yep.
Biscuits?
Montgomery Biscuits.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, what a name, right?
And that name alone should disqualify them from making the playoffs.
No, but we do have a lot of our pitchers back from last year, which is good. It's good to have a veteran pitching staff that goes a long ways, especially in Double-A. That's really where you see the biggest gap from Single-A to Double-A is the pitching. So I think we have a pretty good chance there of really making a mark.
How many home games are we talking?
70 home games.
70?
Yeah, so
man, that's awesome.
In Double-A, they play 140 games total, 70 home, 70 away.
Sarah, you can't look better see if we have any ticket giveaways, do you? I'm putting her right on the spot here. She'll tell me in a second. Maybe we can give away some tickets seeing that we're talking about Smokies.
I'll let you know if I know where to find it.
Actually, I just brought in some this morning. So
did you?
Yeah.
Well, you're the best.
That's what I'm talking about. You're the best. Hey, and on the way out here, we got to hit this break at about 8:18. So about a minute left here. I don't know what Facebook's talking about. Biscuits changed that name. Yes, that's right. Beth says Biscuits changed that name. That's right. Heather for some reason says Victoria has no secrets. I've seen this store. I don't know where that's coming from. It's okay. Rich said before, when is the Victoria's Secrets night? I don't think that would work too well with the Smokies.
Yeah, we call ourselves America's friendliest ballpark, so I'd say that probably wouldn't fly too much.
Plus, I'm not sure if I want to see some baseball players sporting some Victoria's Secrets. It'd be the opposite intention.
Right.
Where's the best place for folks to check out if they're not winning free tickets here on our radio program to get tickets ahead of time?
Yeah, absolutely. Give us a call, 865-286-2300, or visit smokiesbaseball.com.
All right, there we go. Smokiesbaseball.com. Tell them one more time who you are and what you do for the program.
Yeah, Connor Pierce, Marketing and Community Relations with the Tennessee Smokies.
Got his Cubs gear on today, too. I love the Cubs blue.
Always.
I'm a Braves fan, but what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Hey, let's hit this break right now. Thank you so much, Connor, for joining us. We'll be back with Recode Mike. I'll play that clip one more time, talking about Recode Knoxville. And then 8:30 segment, we're going to get into Securing America, new sponsor segment here. Thanks again for joining us, buddy.
Appreciate it.
Be right back.
Awesome. Thanks, man.
Yeah, man. Appreciate it.
No problem, dude.
Yeah, I actually gave some tickets to John when I walked in.
Okay. All right. Cool. Yeah, dude, I love the Smokies stuff that we got going now.
Yeah, it's gonna be awesome.
The morning ritual, getting it all together for the day, it's supposed to go like clockwork. But you're not the only one who knows your habits. This is Scott Brokamp with His Security. Did you forget to arm the alarm, shut the garage, even lock the door? Remove those vulnerabilities that can put you at risk. At His Security, we provide solutions for families and businesses with interactive security systems, which, unlike old-style alarm systems, give you everything you need, like remote access and even reminding alerts on your phone. His Security also provides surveillance cameras, access control, smart technology, solutions you can actually live with that make life easier and safer. Others are watching, and it's up to you and His Security to keep watch on your family and your business's safety. Thoughtful solutions, quality installation, and great customer service. For a free consultation, call 474-9495 or hissecurity.com. Locally owned and operated His Security. In God we trust, all others we monitor. Tennessee license number 1545.
Debt reduction depends on creditors' balances and payments, client testimonials, or dramatizations.
Facebook, I think I found my chair. It's a lovely day in the neighborhood. Yeah, there, yeah. That's the chair. Oh, yeah. Got my lean on. Yeah. All right. That's right, Bob. Station employees are not eligible for the free tickets. Hang on, Richard just sent me a message that said Victoria's Secret night and free beer. Make those on the same night. You guys are funny. I'm going to steal all these jokes. Chairs are very supportive, that's right. You guys are the best. Hang on, for real, I'll go, Heather, are you new? I don't know if I've seen you before. If so, what's up? Thanks for joining the cool kids table. Yes, that's true. Rich would take all the tickets. Wait, Beth, Braves fan click as in bad, right? That's right, because you're not a Braves fan. Oh, is that right? For real? Future in-law, huh? Bad Braves fan. Okay, no problem. Look, I'm only a Braves fan because I grew up when my cousins lived in Atlanta, and my uncle ended up getting. I've been to 3 World Series games in my life, all when the Braves played throughout the 90s, and just could never figure it out until that one time. One of them in particular was against the Indians, man, and no joke. I think it was, I forget what game it was, 2, 3, something like that. And the dugout was literally right on my, like I could feel the concrete of the dugout. It was an incredible experience. So I had to be a Braves fan. What are you going to do, you know? Hey!
Hey. What do you say? It's the middle of May. No, that's not true. That's not true at all. It's about to be the middle of May, though, being that's the beginning of January, February, March, April. There you go. Right, yesterday was April Fool's. You get tricked by any April Fool's stuff yesterday?
No, but I did trick a few other people.
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
That's fantastic. I got tricked, actually. This guy, MKBHD, His name is Marquez Brownlee. He's a tech guy I follow on YouTube. Came out with allegedly what were leaked photos of the new Google Pixel 4. Turned out it was totally false. I was actually super hype. It was a, screen to body ratio was like 95%. It looked like a beautiful phone. Just all screen in your hand. All screen, yeah.
Smash your entire face into the screen.
Yes, that's right.
I just want this screen in my face right now.
Yeah, all I wanted is screens in my life. More screens. 1, 2, 3 screens everywhere. Anyways.
It's not healthy, Grant.
No, I mean, in all sincerity, no, it's really not. Eye doctors tell you that you're supposed to not be able to look at these screens, particularly OLED screens. You're not supposed to view them unless you have either one of those blue light filters on or one of those pairs of glasses that filter out the blue light.
And it's super expensive to get that on your glasses.
Right, I know. And it's allegedly, prolonged use could cause like macular degeneration, which... Look, I mean, you start thinking about that, and in medical professionals that are open about that opinion, but it's not being publicized, it causes one to think, what in the world is going on with our journalism and this disconnect? But totally different topic, but journalism and this disconnect between where the medical community is coming from. If the medical community, dude, what are they called? Optometricians? Good Lord, I speak for a living. Anyways, eye doctors. If the eye doctors are telling me and my mother and everyone else, hey, don't look at these screens for a prolonged period of time without, and by the way, caller line 2, hang on there for just a second, look at the screen. If they're telling us don't look at these screens without some specialized version of glasses on, then I look at Bill Gates and he's saying his kids don't use these screens without some glasses on. Yet I can't find any journalist that I can cite on air with full credibility that says the exact same thing. I don't know, man. All I'm saying is it causes you to think a little bit more about what may or may not be going on here. We have Joan and Recode Mike. Recode Mike's calling in about something in particular, I suppose. I want to be able to can I get this computer going here, yeah? One more time, this is City Councilwoman 1st District Stephanie Welch. Come on up here. That's right, 1st District Stephanie Welch. This is on Hubert Smith's program over the weekend. Just let me play this one more time to give you an idea as to what we're talking about with Recode Mike. Obviously talking about Recode Knoxville. Stephanie says, though, first and foremost, we need to consider Recode as somewhat of an inevitability. Now, I am putting words in her mouth, but somewhat of an inevitability that it needs to happen because we just haven't changed code for 50 years. Now, I said before, there's a logical gap there for me. Just to say that it hasn't been changed in 50 years is not exactly a proactive argument or a positive argument. You know what I'm saying? It doesn't really posit a reason why I should agree with the person just because it hasn't. I could say that about, fill in the blank, man. I could say that about anything that hasn't been changed in 50 years, and all of a sudden that means that it needs to be changed. It just doesn't follow for me. That's not to say that it's not true. It's just that statement in and of itself is not prima facie. It's not true on its face. Because it hasn't been changed in 50 years doesn't necessarily mean that it needs to be changed now going forward. It could. And then she goes on to say this right here, and then I'll go to Rick's call. Here we go.
Some changes. And just like the last zoning ordinance, there will have to be amendments along the way.
You just said something that I think was profound, and you're not the first person to make the statement, but it's something that Victor Ashe used to say, obviously more than 16 years ago. They're not growing any more land.
Yep.
And that's just a fact.
And we can't annex.
Yeah.
We can't annex anymore. So if we are going to accommodate a growing population, as much as it is a little anxiety provoking to think about additional, changes in our community, that is something that we have to look at. Where are we going to put people, and how are we going to do that in a smart way that helps our community have a good quality of life?
Now, I'm going to preface this comment. We've got less than 2 minutes, so just go ahead and start the music there, Nathalie. We'll know to start being quiet whenever it's time. So I'm going to preface this with my bias. How do we get people to understand that taking public transportation is a good thing?
Well,
providing you think is a good thing.
I absolutely think it's a good thing, and nobody will like my answer on this, but I think you have to make it harder for people to drive.
Eek.
When it is so much easier to get in your car and drive, people don't take public transportation.
Well, yeah, that is true. When it's that much easier to drive, people don't get in their car and drive. I mean, goodness gracious. Let's go to Recode Mike, and then I may need to hold you over to the 30-hour, depending how long you go, because I want to get to Roberta here as well. Seems like people are on their toes about this. By the way, we're bringing up Recode again because the next meeting, Recode Mike can fill us in more with the details as posed, is on the 4th. Anyways, take it away, Recode Mike.
Good morning. Well, I've got a lot of material to cover. Let me first address Stephanie Welch. I've been very patient with this 50-year lie. It is a damned lie. The idea that our zoning was created in 1969 and hasn't been touched since then is just a damned lie. Our zoning is comprehensive, it is current, it is modern, it has been changed every year since 1969. It's a damned lie to say that it's antiquated. Let me tell you what RECODE is. RECODE is anti-car. Cars equal freedom. RECODE is anti-freedom. And this subtle fascism that we're hearing from Ms. Welch, I think it's disgusting. Here's the thing. She is on the advisory committee for RECODE, and she has a vote in city council. That's not ethical. They've stacked the deck every possible way on this. Now, this Thursday, in the city-county building, in the main auditorium, at 5:30, they're going to have what they are saying is the last workshop. This is totally unfair. We're going to discuss draft 4. At the end of April, draft 5 comes out. And it appears there's not going to be a workshop on draft 5. They're just going to vote on it. What we need, and I need the help of all the listeners, I need you to call your city council representative, and I need you to demand that they put RECODE on the ballot so the people can vote on it. I want everybody to go to knoxfocus.com and read this excellent editorial by Steve Hunley that's called What's the Hurry with RECODE? Now, if City Council refuses to put this on the ballot for the people to make the decision, we can collect the signatures and we can put it on the ballot. But this entire thing has been a lie from day one. There is nothing wrong with the code. It's actually the RECODE code that is antiquated. It's from the 1900s, years before the automobile was introduced. Their mixed-use design is not ADA compliant. It's not safe. You know, all of the parking is in the back. You have to navigate the parking lot, then the side street, walk around the front of the building. You see how anti-car this design is?
Hey, and real quick before I have to let you go here, Rico and Mike, if you could do me a favor, man, either email the Real News or me personally. I know you can get to me personally as well. I want to make sure I'm going to try and put that Hunley article up on the Real News page. I'm at the knoxfocus.com. There's a couple other articles that he's published here. I don't know if you're talking about the one that goes back on February 17th, even more RECODE, or another one here.
This one's called What's the Hurry with RECODE? It's already on your Facebook page.
Oh, is it? Okay. Well, there you go. I assume Richard did that, man. That's why I need to do the Facebook stuff. Fantastic. We got to hit a break here, man. I'll give you the last about 60 seconds, though, so if you want.
It's imperative, if you want to protect your rights, that you stand up and protect your rights. This whole thing is a lie. They told us that our code is antiquated. It's 50 years old. It's not. It's been updated every year. The whole thing, I mean, look, in public relations, there's a rule in public relations. You have to tell the truth. They say that there's no building code changes in RECODE. That's a lie. They're taking away, for commercial buildings, you can no longer use cinder block, you have to use concrete block. That increases the cost of commercial properties, new commercial properties. This whole thing is anti-car. The mixed-use apartments don't have adequate parking because you little subject of the crown, you're supposed to ride the bus or ride a bike. Cars equal freedom. RECODE is against cars. RECODE is against freedom. Defend yourself. Call your city council representative and demand it be placed on the ballot.
I hear you. RECODE Mike, there he is. Thanks so much for the call, sir. And I'll make sure to repost that. Actually pin it to the top of the page here on the Real News Facebook page so everyone can check that out. We appreciate hearing from you. We'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
Hey, there goes RECODE Mike, 832. Hit this news break, come back with a bit of Roberta, and then we have Securing America. Be right back.
Hang on, Facebook. I'll be right back.
Good morning. I'm Tanya Stout Brown with a local news update on Talk Radio 92.3 and AM 760. Authorities in La Follette report a shooting involving an officer. A call came in that someone was trying to break into a home on East Prospect Street. On the scene, they say the suspect, a woman, pulled a gun. She was ordered to drop it. They say she wouldn't, so officers fired. The suspect was shot and she died later at a Genova hospital in La Follette. A 44-year-old man is charged with second-degree murder. Police say Timothy Dion Wells at first claimed his girlfriend committed suicide, but the various statements he was making to police after the shooting on Deer Run Drive just didn't add up. He was taken in for questioning and eventually admitted he was the one who killed Cheryl Danielle Johnson. The shooting happened on Sunday. An argument is said to have turned deadly on Linden Avenue on Sunday night. We told you about the shooting there earlier. Now police have released information that it was the result of an argument between two people in front of a home in the 2500 block. 40-year-old Victor Johnson of Knoxville was shot. He was taken to UT Medical Center and later died. She had the right of way. Police say a 32-year-old woman was hit by a Jeep Cherokee while she was in a crosswalk at the intersection of Gay Street and Summit Hill Drive. And the driver of that Jeep told police he had been looking at his GPS. It only takes a moment of taking your eyes off the road to suffer devastating consequences. In this case, though, it looks like the pedestrian victim will be okay. And now you're up to date. I'm Tanya Stout Brown on Talk Radio 92.3 and AM 760. Knoxville's talk you can trust.
From the Fox Business Network, drugstore company Walgreens Boots Alliance is reporting a disappointing quarter. It is also lowering expectations for its spring quarter. Whole Foods is planning more price cuts to take effect tomorrow. The Wall Street Journal says prices on more than 500 items will be reduced, including produce and meat. The cuts follow discounts at Kroger, Walmart, and other grocery chains. Walmart and Google are starting a voice ordering grocery service. It launches today. USA Today says all you have to say is, "Hey Google, talk to Walmart." You tell it what you want and it'll place the items in your virtual cart. It works on any device where Google Assistant is available. However, it will only work for shoppers within the range of 2,100 Walmarts with pickup or 800 Walmart stores that deliver. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
Hey guys, good news! The expensive little blue pill is now generic, which means you can get the prescription medication to treat ED at affordable prices. And now get your first month supply for just $5 at 4hims.com/Greg. Hims connects you with real doctors online who can prescribe the
Duke.
Right near 60. Tonight, clear out the skies. Lows will drop not too bad, mid to upper 30s. Near 70 with partly cloudy skies on Wednesday. Could see some scattered showers or thunderstorms late Thursday into part of Friday. Dry and basically warm for the weekend. Check out Ripley's Aquarium in the Smokies and Val Ripley's properties in Sevier County. A great way to spend spring break with the family. From the 6th Storm Team, I'm Chief Meteorologist Matt Hinken for the East Tennessee Weather Network.
It's 41 at Talk Radio 92.3 and AM 760.
Mr. Electric of Knoxville is hiring experienced electricians. Call 272-2749. That's 272-2749. Online at MrElectric.com.
Traffic from the FMT Insurance Studios of Talk Radio 92.3 and AM 760.
Oak Ridge Highway, they've got into road at Foothills Ball Parkway. That'll be a Blount County problem. And still lined up if they had Tooth Road around downtown. Just kind of wait your place in line. At Lance Cunningham Ford, save thousands of dollars on factory units that have now come in to Lance Cunningham, including loaded flex and all-wheel drive. Right now, you'll save big at Lance Cunningham Ford. I'm Pete Michaels.
Live from the FMT Insurance Studios of Talk Radio 92.3 and AM 760, this is Real News with Mr. Henry and Nick Crawford. Join the conversation on the Crown Plaza call-in line, 865-888-TALK.
We'll be in the next break. Okay, so I'll go at a 48, come back at the end at 50. We'll yeah, I got you.
Let me make sure. I find out where that spot is.
Okay. $8:39 in the morning. Welcome back to Real News, ladies and gentlemen. This show has just flown by right now. I had a whole slew of topics that I prepped last night. Haven't even been able to get to a single one of them yet, but that's fine. What we're talking about right now is, let's see here, City Councilwoman Stephanie Welch was on Hubert Smith's program over the weekend here on Talk Radio 92.3 FM and AM 760. That show also broadcasts live from the FMT Insurance Studios, sitting in the same chair, same mic I'm using right now. City Councilwoman Stephanie Welch made the statement, and I don't want to paraphrase too much, but it was basically in so many words, what we need to do is start convincing people to really no longer drive cars. We need to have some type of incentivization, if not even aware. We need to incentivize people to stop driving their cars and start taking public transportation. And it's interesting because that used to be, or so says Recode Mike, that used to be one of the things that they were very, they played close to the chest. By they, I mean city council. By they, I mean the, I don't know, NPC people that were supporting this plan, that were pushing this plan. I don't know. It seemed to be a thing when you would really press people on that particular issue, they would say, no. We're not trying to get people to stop driving their cars. Well, now it's become a thing. If you need it to make sense, then yeah, you do kind of have to get people to stop driving their cars. And it's a very, I don't know. It's one thing to have Recode Knoxville, and it's an entirely different thing, I suppose, to now have people's, shall we say fears? Is that the right word? I don't want to be a fear monger here. I don't. But it is one thing to some people's legitimate true fears are if you, I don't know, man. Richard sent me a message on Facebook a minute ago saying when Stephanie Welch was talking about, well, you can't annex anymore. It was almost this sense of disdain behind it. And again, I'm reading it a little bit because Stephanie's not in this room with me. I want to be fair to her, but it was almost the sense of, well, if we could, we would prefer to do the annexation route. But seeing that we can't do that anymore, we have to sort of do this hopscotch, round the bend sort of weird. It's not exactly nefarious, but it feels nefarious. It feels like it's kind of behind closed doors. It feels like you're not really talking about what should be talking. You know what I'm saying? And then just to be so sort of nonchalant about we need to incentivize people to stop driving their own personal vehicles. Well, I don't know. I'm not trying to make an opinion on this right now. I'm not trying to make an opinion on whether that's a good thing or a bad thing. I mean, frankly speaking, if you're going to live in the city, then yeah, it's more beneficial, logically speaking, it's more beneficial to most of the people living in that city to take public transportation. It just seems to work better when you're in a large city. I mean, look at New York City, for example. Nobody drives there. Not a single person drives there. Most people don't even own cars if you're living in New York City. Why would you? Now, all I'm saying is that what Knoxville wants for this city? That's the only question I'm posing. That's all I'm posing. Because it seems like literally up until now, with what Recode Mike said on the 4th, what did he say, city council building, is that right? Richard, tell me if I'm wrong. On the 4th, when they're having this, what should be the last meeting, now all of a sudden we're having conversations about, I guess it is true then, that you basically want to make it so people either don't own cars or don't drive their own cars. I'm not saying it's a good or bad thing. All I'm saying is, it just feels frustrating to some people. I'm trying to articulate the opinions that I'm getting from Facebook, the opinions that I'm getting from people calling in. All I'm saying is the people that listen to this program, maybe we're a niche audience. Maybe we are. Now, I will say, the fact that we're a niche audience is probably because we're the only ones that are talking about it. Granted, the Knox Focus is, knoxfocus.com. That article by Hunley is already up on our Real News page. I'm going to pin it. Or Richard, you have admin rights. If you're listening to me right now, go ahead and pin that to the top of the page for me, buddy.
So Knox Focus is talking about it. We have a caller in line. I'm not sure. The Compass is Focus is talking about it a little bit. Like I said, Triple H covered it one time, and I don't know. Maybe we have a niche audience, but our niche audience, I think, is speaking the loudest because we're the only ones talking about it. So if you get what you're following me here? If we're waiting until the very last time to start talking about, is this a massive push for public transportation and a way to sort of root out private transportation, that seems to be one of the very first things people should talk about. With that being said, let's go to Roberta here on the Crown Plaza call-in number. She's been hanging on the longest. Roberta, thanks for hanging on so long. What's on your mind?
Oh, I am so curious. But anyway, put one more S in the USA and make it like Soviet. I think they have Langston Hughes on the city council giving them guidance. But anyway, what provisions have been made for the people that are being evicted from the profit makers that have bought up all these houses? I live here in Park Ridge. My neighbor next door, he's black. He's in a wheelchair. He has a little dog. He has to be out. He's got about 3 days left. He has no place to go. He found a place down close to Weisgarber. He can bring enough clothes for 5 days. He, too, is very low income. And what happens to the people like him? What happens to the Joshuas of Knoxville? He'll soon be 80 years old. He's been such an asset to our community. He's a wonderful old man. But anyway, he's so scared. He came by yesterday for a few minutes and told us that he's got to go. He has very little income. He has to put his things in a storage unit. How in the hell is he going to move his furniture to a storage unit? And where's the money going to come to for him to pay the bill for it? How soon does he not lose all of it?
Now, Roberta, I got to get to Roz here during this break, too. She just called in and told me to get her on here as soon as possible. But I want to ask, is your neighbor saying specifically because of RICO in Knoxville he feels like he's being pushed out, or because of another possibly related issue as well?
They've bought up all the houses along here for redevelopment.
Gotcha, okay.
I would like to invite that dear lady to go with us on the bus. I will be 87 on the 28th of April and legally blind. I'd like her to go with me. Let's leave the cars behind. Take them all off. And I want her to put Vaseline over her glasses so she can't see well. And let's go grocery shopping. And let her bring home her groceries on the bus. I have to have somebody who does have a car take me and help me shop. But I'd like her to help me. Let's see them put some of their interest. But I want to know what provision are they making for the people that get out. And there's a big push because I'm on the corner. And in addition to that, zoning has been flexible here. When I bought this house in 2005, I went down to zoning and they gave me a variance and made this, which had been a single family, turned it into a duplex. All you have to do is go down and ask. We don't need to have a batch of outsiders coming in to profit, but boy, they're wanting my house. And they had the audacity, the last one, to say, oh, you don't need to have your son along. We'll be happy to negotiate with you. I said, they see a blind old woman who probably has dementia, shall we hope, from their point of view, and we'll talk her into selling. I said, that ain't going to happen, son.
Hey, Roberta, I gotta hit this break and then come back with Roz. I want to tell you, too, just since I have you on air, I appreciated your letter you wrote me recently. Read through the entire thing here. I don't have time to talk with you about it now, but I might give you a call later on. But got to hit this break, Roberta. I appreciate everything you do for us and for the program, for this community, and we'll talk to you soon.
Bye-bye, and thank you.
Thank you, Roberta. There goes Roberta. Hit this break right now. Come back with Roz. She said get her on ASAP. ASAP means after the break, Roz.
Get her on now.
Do you want it to?
No.
Oh, okay.
She was just like, you tell him, better get me on there. You need to get on.
Come on, Roz. All right, we'll hit this break, come back with Roz. Also come back with Stimpy if we have time. We're got the Securing America, again, brought to you by His Security. In God we trust, all others we monitor. We'll hit that segment here coming up here in just a little bit. Be right back after this break.
Oh man, we are everywhere today. Well, not really everywhere, it's just, you know what I mean? One of them shows, bro. Yo.
I want to talk to you about this Securing America intro and how you want to do it.
Do you know
Yeah, it's a hotkey.
what level of talking about? Like Carmen Electra? Are we at like a...
like Jason Momoa. Yeah. That's just my opinion. But I'm sure other people will agree with me. But yeah, how do you want to do this? Because we've got it when we go on break after the next segment. His Security commercial is going to play. So do you want to play that? And everybody?
Well, as long as John's okay with it, what I'd like to do, we have Stimpy this break or not, depending how long we have. We're supposed to, Mr. Jernigan, what's up? We're supposed to, I don't everyone's mind to Stimpy has to say back, and I don't know, maybe we should get Stephanie Welch in here to respond. I don't know if I'm going to with it. I hit until like 9:30 until I break at 9. You know what I mean? 15 times.
I do know that John came in here and moved some stuff around because we were supposed to do it earlier this morning, and we moved some stuff around to make sure that we could get it in. So, yeah.
Be okay with.
Yeah.
It's a paid thing. We got to do. What we got to do.
Yeah, exactly. And mostly because I'm not comfortable moving stuff around just yet.
Okay. Yeah.
Can we just go ahead and do it?
Yeah.
I mean, I understand, like, putting it with a story and having it make sense, but I'm just kind of like,
Yeah. Just hit that key, and then I'll just do this last segment. Roz and Stimpy will just have to deal.
Okay, so hit the hotkey as soon as you get back, like here in a minute.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Cool.
All
right. Mickey! What's up, bruv? Hey, anybody know Stephanie Welch? You think we can get her on? Do you think she'd at all be willing to come on? I can get my boy Richard. Richard, reach out to Stephanie. Welcome.
Hey, welcome back, everybody. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. This is our segment right now, Securing America. This segment brought to you by His Security. In God we trust, all others we monitor. That's His Security. In God we trust, all others we monitor. Now, what I'm going to do for Securing America today on the way out here, 8:52, we're going to go up to about 8:58 with this. You want to know how to secure America? You want to know how to do it right? As far as His security is concerned, in God we trust, all others we monitor. Our founding fathers were very, very clear about us trusting in this entity, this metaphysical, celestial entity known as God. In God we trust. The Bill of Rights was not about the federal government giving you your rights. The foundation of this Constitution was not about select men telling you what you can and cannot do with your life. It was about recognizing that something or someone or some entity greater than yourself and greater than the collective of all of us, acknowledging that that's where those rights come from. The Bill of Rights is about the federal government not being able to take something away from you because God himself gave it to you. Unfortunately, the Founding Fathers are probably a little bit smarter than most of us were. Unfortunately, I get that. We haven't had an ability to have intense dialogue and debate like we did back in the Federalist times and the Anti-Federalist times. A lot of this stuff we worked ourselves out. We've tried to pack the courts before. We remember that, right? Remember when a sitting president tried to pack 13 additional, is it 13? I'm pretty sure it was 13 additional Supreme Court justices onto the Supreme Court. Now, eventually, the Supreme Court capitulated. And what did we get? We got a decade worth of terrible jurisprudence. We got the Commerce Clause that seeped into literally everything. Everything. The federal government's tentacles seeped in and they branched out like they had never done before because they were afraid of what might happen the next time around. His security gets it, and God we trust, all others we monitor, right? Go check out his security. Here's the story for today. Bernie Sanders, the reasonable one out of all people. Goodness gracious, Bernie Sanders. Sanders warns against increase in Supreme Court justices and term limits. How is it that I'm calling on Bernie Sanders to protect my country? Secure my country, Bernie Sanders, because we figured this out before. Bernie Sanders diverged from some of his fellow candidates vying for 2020 Democratic nomination on Monday by arguing against expanding the number of justices on the United States Supreme Court. This is coming from GetPocket.com, is what I'm reading it from. It's actually coming from a Fox News headline. Sanders, an independent who caucuses with the Democrats, said he was concerned that if Democrats take the White House in 2020 and decide to add more justices to the Supreme Court, then the Republicans will just do the same next time they win the presidency. Yeah, you think? This is the new push now for Democrats' deep dive into the progressive cesspool. If you can't win just by circumventing the legislature for the past 2 decades, 3, 4, 5 decades in a row, what do you do now that you have a Republican president who is stacking the Supreme Court with conservative justices? Oh, and by the way, we could be far more conservative if we want to. You realize that, right? We did a favor for y'all by giving you Kavanaugh. Do you not realize that? We did you a favor. You could have an Amy Coney Barrett there right now, a true originalist. If you don't understand the difference, go look it up. Okay, fine. She might just be a textualist. I'll give you that. Whatever. She's better than Kavanaugh was. She at least thinks the Fourth Amendment is a thing. We did y'all a favor with the Kavanaugh pick. And now Bernie Sanders has to be the reasonable one saying, okay, the last project, the last experiment of the past couple of decades, that failed. You guys are already talking about doing away with the Electoral College. I guarantee you that's going to fail. We do realize that as early as 1988, California voted safely Republican. We get that, right? California's not always been a blue state. As early as 1988, I'm pretty sure that's correct. Someone on Facebook tell me if I'm wrong. California voted safely Republican. West Virginia was not always a swing state. Sanders went on to say, "Is my worry is that once Republicans are in power, they will just do the same thing." Sanders added that he wasn't totally sold on the idea of also issuing term limits to Supreme Court justices, but instead favored rotating justices on and off the bench from lower appellate courts. Wrong. You want to know why Supreme Court Justice Scalia is one of my favorites of all time? Because he didn't care. He just straight didn't care what people thought about him. That is one of the main purposes behind why we have life tenure. It's so that the Supreme Court justices don't have to get involved in the nonsensical minutia of political, of swaying of literally as far as the wind blows. We don't want Kirsten Gillibrand to be our Supreme Court justice. You get what I'm saying? I don't want John Roberts to be flipping on the Supreme Court just because he's going to a dinner party later on and his Democrat friends might hold his Republican feet to the fire. I want my justices just like Supreme Court Scalia. They used to ask him sometimes, and they asked him when he came to my law school, Justice Scalia, what do you think about people not liking you? He said, I don't care. I don't care if people like me or not. I don't care if they think I have a political opinion. In the Supreme Court, what are we going to have? The last paragraph of this article I think is so fantastic. The Constitution is not a set number of justices. That's up to Congress. There are actually 6 for the High Court, 7 then 1869. That was 1869. But what are we going to do? Where does it end? If President Kamala adds 2 justices, the next Republican president adds 2 more, in a constant cycle, we're up to 134 Supreme Court justices. Where does it end? In God we trust, all others we monitor. Why is it Bernie Sanders that has to secure my America? 8:58. Be right back after this news, traffic, weather break, all that. Be back with Simon Roach talking about what's going on in South Africa. Be right back.
Yo.
We're going to do about Stimpy. Should I tell him to call back later?
Yeah,
or?
probably.
Okay.
Did Richard give you that phone number to call for this guy?
No.
Hang on. It's somewhere.
I really need to use the restroom, so
yeah, I'll write it
give
down
it to
for
me
you.
later.
Yeah.
Okay.
You and his security to keep watch on your family and your business's safety. Thoughtful solution.
That we were worshipping a false idol. It turns out that we were being led by the nose like a cow to be slaughtered, you know. It was, excuse my language, it was all bullshit. We bought into the narrative that was sold to us by the global mainstream media.
And now we have a new president in ANC.
Yes.
Do you see any faith in this new change of leadership?
The Saitlanders is one of the few right-wing organizations in South Africa. The Saitlanders is one...
Saitlanders. 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 Saitlanders.
Of the few right-wing organizations in South Africa that is truly right-wing. There are many others who will, on the one hand, they will say, oh, you must not hurt the Afrikaners, farm murders, it's bad. But the new South Africa, you know, we try. Because we are right-wing and we don't apologize for anything, we are able to say the truth in ways that other people are not. There is a new president in Zimbabwe, and we said when he came, this is not a good thing. While everybody was cheering, Mugabe is gone, this is so wonderful. We were the only organization saying this is a bad, bad thing. Similarly, to answer your question, when Cyril Ramaphosa was elected, the Saitlanders was the only organization to say this is not a good thing. He is not the friend of white people. Perhaps he is better than Jacob Zuma's wife, his rival for the presidency. But it's not a good thing. And we were right. Immediately after he was elected, he said we are going to proceed with expropriation of white-owned land without compensation, without giving money. So we are very worried. We believe that he is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Lovely accent. He pretends to be a capitalist, but his background is a tragic background. He was a trade unionist, a Marxist trade unionist. He was deployed, as I was told by senior ANC leaders at the time of Nelson Mandela's funeral, the day before, in fact. He was specifically deployed by the ANC to go and be the great capitalist. Other ANC people were deployed to look after the municipalities. Another guy was sent to be an ambassador. Another guy was sent to learn about mathematics for to become the to become the Minister of Finance. He is an ANC dog on an ANC leash. And white people in South Africa, they cannot see it.
What will the white man's reply be if they impose this politics of land grab without compensation?
It will lead to violence because some white people, I don't say they're right or that they're wrong, I think it's suicidal myself, but some white people, for sure, will resist by violence. They will say, my family owned this farm for 8 or 10 or 12 generations, and you can't have it, end of story. Also, the principle on which the expropriation without compensation is based is nonsense. The first black people, Bantu black people, were met by white people. 125 years, after white people arrived in South Africa, the western 40% of South Africa had never been occupied by the Bantu people, who are now claiming land in that region. It took the white, racist, colonialist, evil white people 125 years exactly, and this is recorded. The diaries still exist to this day. They are in the Brenthurst Museum, owned by the Oppenheimer mining family in Johannesburg, just next to Johannesburg General Hospital. They are there that show the records, and there are many others. It took 125 years.
Warrior Boers colonization.
Yes, our people were colonialists, no different than the way that the Zulus colonized the Xhosas, smashed them to pieces. Remember, in the Impekane Wars, as all liberal sources, only liberal sources, there are no conservative sources that I quote now, record that in the Impekane Wars, between 1/3 and 2/3 of the entire population of South Africa was wiped out. That's black and black. So yes, we're colonialists. I suppose maybe it happened also in Scandinavia, Swedes, Danes, Norwegians, Finns, I don't know. Are we innocent? Are we perfect? No. We never made this claim.
What are the preparations that the Sealanders take to face this threat?
We prepare daily physical, material goods, vital necessities for civilian non-combatants, so that we can realize a national emergency plan that covers most of South Africa under international law, particularly Protocols 1 and 2 additional to the Geneva Conventions, which make specific provision for identifiable ethnic groups to gather together as non-combatants and to defend themselves as non-combatants. In other words, just to defend a perimeter, not to go out and attack. This is the preparation we make every day, and besides that, we are a Christian organization, very old-fashioned Christianity, very old-fashioned European Protestantism.
All right, Facebook. It's going to be an interesting one coming up. You saying the audio is weird, y'all? Is it weird right now?
It is not just one of the family of nations. This is a nation with a great mission to perform for the benefit of liberty-loving people everywhere.
That we shall be as a city upon a hill.
These are the times that try men's souls. The summer soldier and the sunshine patriot will, in this crisis, shrink from the service of his country.
You've come to fight as three men. Three men you are. What will you do without freedom? Proclaim liberty throughout all the land. In one voice, we will not go quietly into the night. We will not vanish without a fight. You gotta fight! For your right! Can you dig it?
9:07 in the morning. Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to Real News. (888-8255) as our board upstairs getting a slow internet. Stop and restart the stream at 360 quality. How about no? Yeah, Facebook, they're telling me some weird stuff is happening with the audio. I think the internet's going slow, or so says my phone to me here on my left. I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 screens in front of me right now, but that's what it takes to put together real news. Our guest coming up here in a minute is Simon Roach. We'll be contacting him from South Africa, talking about the, I'm going to have to get him pronounced Swidelanders? I'll get him to pronounce it. Anyways, but the situation going on in South Africa right now. Facebook, love interacting with those comments. Just type in Real News Radio. All of your social media stuff as well. Just type in Real News Radio to all this stuff. Stream, yeah, Rich is saying the stream's missing. Yeah, I get you, Rich. Give me about 2 seconds here, Rich. See if the internet is helping me out a little bit here. Doesn't look like it's going to. Maybe I can take one of these devices off Wi-Fi. I don't know. Anyways, if you just joined us, what we did, we were speaking with Smokies guys a little bit here, talking about the new season that's coming up. Obviously talking about, let's see here, Stephanie Welch, City Councilwoman, 1st District, her opinion on Recode. I don't know, y'all. I don't know. I'll pose this question one more time for the Facebook and everyone else. What's the best way to say this, y'all? Give me 3 seconds to figure this out in my head. I'm trying to figure out the most direct way to ask this. Again, one reason why I really appreciated Antonin Scalia is he had such a strong grasp on the English language, right? His ability to use the words that made the most sense at the time. I'm struggling for that ability right now to try and figure out what it is that I'm feeling. How do I articulate where the Real News audience is coming from this? Do you get what I'm saying with this Recode stuff? Like, are we just out of our minds? I mean, the fact that we're talking about this all the time and that we're as up in arms as we are. Roberta calls in talking about her neighbor has to move, an elderly person. Honestly, y'all, I think Roberta had one of the best suggestions that's been put out there so far. Seriously. What's up, Mr. Adams? Oh, just closing the door. I like that shirt. I like that shirt, Mr. Adams.
Thanks, would you like it?
No. All right. It looks good, though. We can trade shirts later. He's wearing a nice baby blue shirt. Looks good. I think Roberta had one of the best suggestions so far. That suggestion being especially for elderly individuals. Her suggestion was these individuals that are pushing a lot of public transportation. Look, I don't think she meant it in an antagonistic form at all. I really don't. I'm not trying to speak for Roberta here. I don't think she was meaning to be too caustic with it. I don't think she was trying to be angry about it. She was just generally posing the question of, if you think public transportation is the way to go, let's get some of these city council members. Let's get Gerald Green. Let's get NPC. Let's get some of these folks together and get them to go on a shopping trip with Roberta. See what it's like for a person who's has trouble with vision. See what it's like for a person who has trouble with mobility. See what it's like for a person who might have to go around in a motorized scooter to try and get on a public bus to I don't know, figure out the sky. I don't know, man. I don't do the public transportation. I'm not sure. I'm fortunate enough to have a means of transportation right now, but with that being said, for someone like Roberta, I think she had a great suggestion. What do you do when you got to go? What do you just buy a single gallon of milk and then go take that home, and then go buy a couple loaves of bread and then go take that home, and then go get your chips and then take that home, as much as you can carry? Do you get what I'm saying? It's not exactly like it's going to be an easy trip for someone to hop on a bus. Maybe it is, honestly. Hop on a bus, go get your shopping done, come back. Now, for a lot of people, that's the only opportunity they have. That's the only option they have. I understand that. But one more plug for the Gateway Grocery folks, okay? If Recode Knoxville has their way, goodness. If Roberta's going to have to try and start figuring out how to get a storm door brought in from Home Depot on a public bus, it's not going to happen. If she can't reach out to any friends or family around here that's going to help her do it, man, Gateway Grocery, mygatewaygrocery.com, these guys will help you out. But I don't know, man. I'm just, look, that aspect may or may not work for New York City or for Chicago or for somebody else. I just don't know. I just don't know if it's going to happen for Knoxville. I don't know if it'll work for Knoxville. And more importantly, if it is supposed to work for Knoxville, is it supposed to work right now? Does it need to happen right now? Do you get what I'm saying? Again, one more time, I just feel like this entire thing, for most people in Knoxville, it's not necessarily that zoning laws don't need to be changed. It's not necessarily they don't need to be updated. Who is our buddy that calls in? Man, what is his name? I keep forgetting his name. He's a guy that calls in all the time. I need to remember his buddy's name. Kevin. I think it's Kevin. Is that Kevin? It's not. Maybe it is Kevin. I don't know. The guy that calls in says he lived in Ontario or somewhere in Canada and that it seemed to work very, very well there. Even that guy who says, yeah, if you do it right, it's done well. But this, he would even say, and I don't want to put words in his mouth, but he would even say, this is not exactly the way to do it. So we talked a little bit about Recode. We talked about Stephanie Welch saying, hey, there needs to be a way to incentivize individuals to not drive their cars anymore. I'm saying they tried to incentivize that in France, and it didn't exactly work out too well. I'm not saying that people are going to start flipping cars and lighting them on fire in Knoxville. That's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying, unless you're fully open, completely open with people in East Tennessee, they don't exactly like being told what to do. And most importantly, you have to understand, and I know these people in city council get this, I know it, those nerves are still very, very raw. What are those nerves I'm talking about? Those nerves of helping your buddies out when you're not supposed to, doing things behind the scenes, closed-door meetings. Those nerves of the people of Knoxville in general feel like they don't have a voice. Those are still very, very raw in this area. Am I wrong? I mean, I'm genuinely, it's not rhetorical. I'm genuinely asking, am I wrong about that? I don't think I am. And because they're so raw right now, you have to understand, I'm trying to be that conduit through which I take what I'm hearing from my audience over here. Let's make it the right side, okay? I'm taking what I'm hearing from my audience, this sort of niche community, the only niche community that's really talking about this Recode stuff, and they are up in arms, they are fiery. And I'm trying to figure out a way to reasonably articulate that to the people in city council over here, who may or may not just simply understand what's going on. Or understand why, why there's frustration. And at the end of all of what I think it really comes down to is, again, just pure and simple. I think people in East Tennessee, they don't like being told what to do by people that are supposed to be working for them. City, county, it doesn't matter. Now, I don't know. Maybe we need to get Stephanie Welch on the program. I'm reaching out to Richard Sparger right now, seeing if he would come on. If she would come on, I mean. Let's see if he can set that up for us. I don't know. And I keep going back one more time. I don't want to be too dire here, y'all. I don't. But is this a said and done thing? I keep pushing that on y'all. I know you don't like me to hear me say that, but I keep pushing that on y'all. I'm asking if this is a said and done thing because I'm trying to antagonize y'all. I am. Caller in line 1 will get your screen here in just a second. Hang on for us. I'm purposely trying to antagonize my audience so that we show up to these meetings, so that when this is all said and done, at a minimum, the majority of people in this county, in this city, can say, look, I may not like it, but it was done fair and square. I may not like it, but at least my voice was heard. I may not like it, but at least we got some amendments in. I may not like it, but at least we had a full-on conversation and we're all on the same page. I genuinely think that's all people are asking for. That's all people are asking for. We then turn that conversation over, if you're just joining us, to this headline that I just read before. Sanders warns against increases Supreme Court justices and term limits. It seems like Democrats now, this is their new push. Here's another headline from Fox News. 2020 Democrats eye dramatic increase in Supreme Court justices. All options are on the table, they say. It's become the hot new topic of 2020 presidential campaign trail. Several Democrat contenders are talking about putting up plans to overhaul the Supreme Court, with some offering proposals to add up to 10 more justices. Candidates include Cory Booker, Elizabeth Warren, Kamala Harris, Kirsten Gillibrand. They've all signaled an openness to overhauling the court if they become president. And progressive groups are putting their money behind that message. An effort to tap into lingering liberal anger over President Trump's 2 nominees confirmed to the High Court. Can I say right now, too? Y'all Democrats, what happened to my Democrat Party, man? And yes, I'm saying my Democrat Party. What happened to my Democrat Party that, man, it used to be such formidable debates. You know what I mean? It used to be such fights that were worthy of fighting. It used to be, man, you had some sharp Democrats. Man, they had the Solinsky tactics down. It was It was game 7. You know what I'm saying? It was like Democrats, Republicans vying for legitimate ideas back and forth. And now the whole Democrat pitch, the entire pitch for presidency of 2020 is literally nothing more than just who can beat President Trump. That's it. It's just who can beat President Trump. That's not a positive argument. You get what I'm saying? It literally doesn't posit anything new. It doesn't posit something for me of this is going to make a better country. This is just going to be non-Trump country. Do you understand you can't vote someone in on a negative? Do you understand what I'm saying? Sarah, we got to hit this break right now. Let's hit this break right now, 9:18. Do we have Simon, by the way, coming back, Simon? Yeah?
I'm trying to get him on here. I think he can hear me, but I can't hear him, so hold on.
No problem. Yeah, we'll hit this break right now. Sarah sets that up. Look, the only point I'm making is when you're talking about a Joe Biden, creepy Uncle Joe, when you're talking about a Kamala Harris, when you're talking about a Kirsten Gillibrand who literally could be a Democrat one day, an independent the next day, and then the following day somehow a moderate Democrat, those are all pitches of just not Trump. Those are not pitches for how it's going to make America better. And plus, when you're talking about coupling that with a $93 trillion Green New Deal, I don't know, man. Look, Democrats, you got to give me something better than that. You just have to. You have to give me a viable candidate, and Beto O'Rourke's not going to do it for you. I promise you. Beto O'Rourke lost to a junior senator. Good? Hit this break. Come right back after this break. See what we'll get into. Be right back.
We got all kind of stuff going on in the background here. That was literally just a segment of me just straight BSing for 18 minutes, man. I don't know what just happened there. All right. It's live radio, y'all. Roll with the punches. Punches from the left, from the right. Oh, punches. All throughout the night. Punches from the feeble and the sprite. Most of the punches from the left, they're light. Just like jabs, you know what I mean? All right, let me see what I'm coming back in if we don't. I'll get that old bird. Yeah, I don't know. I couldn't get to Roz, Bob. We have this new segment that's Securing America segment, and suffice it to say, it was a time-sensitive thing, so unfortunately I couldn't put Roz on. I don't know what she was talking about. I'll have to hit her. I'll hit her up right now. Hey,
it's 9:22. Anybody ever figured out the lyric to that song? Some people said it's "I'm blue. If I were green, I would die."
I'm blue, da-ba-dee-da-ba-die.
Is it just da-ba-dee-da-ba-die in a way?
That's literally all it is. People get too analytical and go crazy and then get on Tumblr and come up with all kinds of crazy stuff. It's ridiculous.
That's everything. Hey, I think we're still trying to contact, who's on line 1 right now? I think they can hear me. I heard somebody talking. No? Yeah?
Give me a moment, okay? It's kind of crazy back here.
That's no problem. Hey, it's live radio. That's what happens. We're trying to get a guest from South Africa going through here. Simon Roach is his name. Going to be talking about what's going on in South Africa. Going to be talking about a group that I want to make sure he pronounces correctly. In English, it's the Southlanders, what it stands for. South African, ethnic survivalist group whose ideology is based on, the group believes there's a race war, general civil war that's coming in South Africa as a result of white genocide. A topic that sort of died down in international media over the last couple of months here, and is part of picking up steam here. Here's what I want to go to, as I'm just sort of jumping all over the place in this 9 o'clock hour. Like I said, it's live radio on Real News, talking about real news. Here's the piece from John Solomon. I may just play this out depending on when we get our guest on. I may do this on tomorrow. I may do it right now. Who knows? As Russia collusion fades, Ukrainian plot to help Clinton emerges. And I said before, Devin Nunes says that he's prepared now to deliver criminal referrals after Trump vows to release the FISA court documents. Trump also, we had a headline last week. Here's the headline right here. Trump goes on Sean Hannity's show and actually says now he vows to release the FISA court documents now that the Mueller probe is concluded, and he ends up slamming the treasonous FBI. This is all interconnected, y'all. Yeah, Kelly says, talking about the South Africa thing, died down, question mark, as in the mainstream media isn't even reporting it at all in all caps. Yeah, that's true. But this is all interconnected. The FISA court documents being released, the Gang of Eight, the Woods trials, the surveilling Carter Page. It's all interconnected now. And I would urge everyone again, go back and check out April 17th, sorry. I'm pretty sure it's April 17th, 2007. No, I didn't say that wrong. April 17th, 2007. Glenn Simpson, the guy who runs Fusion GPS, that same Fusion GPS, wrote an article in the Wall Street Journal, April 17th, 2007, wrote a piece in the Wall Street Journal basically laying out exactly what we now call the Russia collusion scheme. Over 10 years ago. Basically just repackaging that thing. This is not my analysis. Yes, I got some of this from Dan Bongino. Dan Bongino is a guy that used to work at the Secret Service, though. He kind of knows what he's talking about. And I'm saying all this stuff is connected with the FISA court warrants, with everything else. And I'm saying as well, it also should be suspect to some people when you start talking about the scheme that was the Russia plot. The reason why it made a lot of sense is because, frankly speaking, a lot of politicians had been doing whatever this Russia collusion scheme was for a very long time. Maybe not with Russia, maybe with Russia. Most certainly with Ukraine. Before I really dive headlong into this, though, what is Sarah saying here? Yeah, let's get to Linus, right. Let's go to Linus right now, actually, on the Crown Plaza call number. About 5 minutes left before this news break here. Linus, what's on your mind, sir?
Well, I'd like to go back to Recode for just a minute.
No problem.
Another thing as well. We have a group of people roaming around the town here, headhunting people's property. And that's exactly what they're doing. And what they'll do is they'll find a house and they'll try to buy the house if it's got, say, an acre or so yard on it, and then they'll subdivide the yard, put another house on there, and then rent out the first house. They've done that twice in my neighborhood, and they're in a process of corrosion and the destruction of all the older neighborhoods with reasonable-sized yards.
Now, just to interrupt here, Linus, is that a little bit of what Roberta was touching on when she said that her neighbor was basically...
It's the same kind of thing,
Okay.
It's pretty much the same group of people, too, I'll bet. They hit up one of my neighbors the other day trying to buy their property so they could do that. Now, when you do a thing like that in an older neighborhood, people move out, and it's like a bruise on an apple. Before you know it, the whole apple's rotten. Let's face it, this administration has sold Knoxville out from under us, or they've tried to. And that's all you can call it. They are not interested in anything you have to say. They've had 80 meetings and neglected to mention in every one. The public said, no, we don't want it. Think about that for just a minute. As I understand it, they're going to try to do a vote on this, on Thursday or Friday?
Thursday is the next. Now I don't know if it's a vote, if it's just another meeting, man. I'm not sure what they're pitching this one as. Rico and Mike, I think, would have a little bit more information about this. And Sarah, we got a call in line too, also there. But I do know that City Council building, they're having another meeting here. I'm not sure if it's just an information meeting. I seriously doubt it's going to be another vote that the public would have any say on for sure. It might be a vote for NPC members or City Council, but yeah.
Let me tell you something. They're terrified. They're seeing more opposition by the day, and they're determined to jam this through. They've already took the money for the deed. So what they'll do, in my opinion, is you're going to find yourself with a Saturday night massacre pretty soon. And that's when they suddenly decide they've got to vote on it right now.
Yeah,
because
Richard.
They don't want this on the ballot because it's going down in flames if it does go on the ballot.
Well, they certainly don't want it on the ballot. Richard just messaged me and said it's a workshop, so it's another workshop coming up here. And again, man, I would tell you, I think my buddy Shine had this right. The best way we can make a stink about this is somehow force the journalist hands. Now, how do you force the journalist hands? You get 200, 300, 400 people to show up and literally break fire code ordinance, and you kind of shut down the meeting. Now, you don't shout down the meeting. That's what I'm saying. You shut down the meeting because so many people are showing up, they have to reschedule it or something. Richard said the vote is in mid-May, so this thing coming up on Thursday is a workshop. The vote is actually in mid-May, just so everyone knows what we're talking about.
That's what the official thing is. I still say they'll do it faster than that.
Right.
They're not fooling me at all. I've seen this before. In my opinion, what's going on is, like I said, straight up simple. They've sold this town out from under the people of Knoxville, and they're determined to push this through. And in the end, what's going to take is we're going to have to recall these suckers, and we're going to have to put this on the ballot ourselves, because you're not going to get justice from your city council.
No, I doubt it, man. I doubt it. And again, look, all credit goes to someone like Asima Singh Perez, who's willing to come on here and tell us her story. I mean, if we can get other city council members on here, I'll say the same about them as well. But I don't know. I think you're right. It's so far into the game now. And the response I keep getting, even from some media members, Linus, let's be for real, even from some media members is, well, they've had 80 meetings. You've had time to speak your opinion on it if you've wanted to.
They haven't listened to it. That's what makes me the maddest.
Right.
They don't care what you say in these meetings. They've already made up their mind. What you're trying to do is wake up somebody pretending to be asleep.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, look, the reason why I'm pausing this is because I don't know what else to do. I don't. I mean, I'm not sure. You have everyone from a Linus who goes in there and talks about the 30,000-foot view of the Agenda 2030. You have everyone from a business developer who has $200 million worth of stuff going on right now that says, I can't figure this out. You have industry elites. You have Stimpy. You have, all these other people that are out there talking about this stuff, and nobody's listening at all. I mean, I think the only other way to do it is to force so many people in that building so that Knox News is to force to report on it or something.
The answer is this. It's an old proverb in politics. Early to bed, early to rise, work like heck and organize. And that's what it's going to take. Right now we're too disorganized. We need to get together in one solid opposition block and come after them everywhere they are, whether they're in a restaurant, whether they're walking down the street, whatever. Show up in front of their houses with signs. These people have got to understand they represent us. They don't represent special interest groups, and that's who they've sold this town to.
I think Roberta had a good idea, too. Let's make a public transportation day. Let's get all the city council members to put on paper that at least for one day they're going to follow Roberta around and do her shopping with her, to go to the meetings with her, do all the things that she would have to do on a random day, but just take the public transportation to do it.
Precisely. Let's see how long their ice cream takes to melt.
Let's see how ice cream takes to melt. Linus, we got to hit this break, buddy. I always appreciate hearing from you. Let's talk to you soon, all right?
Okay, bye-bye.
There goes Linus, 931. Man, I'm telling you, this is what I was talking about before. I don't know whether the real news audience is just a niche audience, and then whether it's just that we have the same couple callers every single time. But the Facebook's saying the exact same thing. I got 13 people on Facebook right now there for what it's worth. They're all saying the same thing. All the callers are saying the same thing. I've yet to hear a person call into this program or come on to this program, even as one of our guests. Even Simpson Perez was not exactly advocating for it. She was just saying, look, this is something we started. I'm kind of in the middle of it right now. I'm just explaining to you what's going on. I mean, look, it seems like Stephanie Welch was certainly advocating for it on Hubert Smith's program. Now, again, Hubert Smith is a much better interviewer than I am. Maybe that's the reason why she went on this program. Maybe we can get her on our program. And I need someone on this program that can tell us, are we losing our minds? Can you tell me how this advocacy for this position is a reasonable thing to consider? 9:32 in the morning. Hit this break. Be right back.
Oh, Facebook. I don't know what happened to our assignment guest. We'll figure that out. Weird. Get out of here! Rosalind. Yeah, of course more people approve. Come on, boy. All right, Ray, are you still in Facebook? Here's what I was talking about with my comparison of my comparison. 42% of households in New York City own a car. On average, that's crazy. Compared to Knoxville, for example, 93% of households in Knoxville City own cars. 42% to 93%. It's a pretty big, drastic difference. And that actually continues in most major cities. 2017 households without vehicles in Kansas City. Kansas is 8% of people do not own vehicles. Kansas City, Missouri is 11% that do not own vehicles. What's another big city? Chicago. Yeah, even in Chicago, 73% of people own vehicles in Chicago. What about Boston? Boston. Yeah, 72% of households in Boston own cars. So 45% is pretty, 42% rather, is pretty low, man. You're right, there's still a piss ton of private cars, but... Mark, what's up, buddy? We are broadcasting from Knoxville, Tennessee, which is why it's so local on this recode stuff today. Knoxville, Tennessee. We tend to talk mainly national stuff here. Occasionally get into some local stuff with this recode Knoxville stuff. Mark, if you're just joining us, wait, are you Rich's friend, Mark? Possibly? No. Maybe not. Take that. I don't know. I don't know. In Knoxville, Tennessee is where we're broadcasting from. Maine? How'd you hear about us? That's awesome. This Facebook is so cool, man. I got the best audience in the world. I swear. I swear. We're on a break right now, Mark, just so you know that's what's going on. Because they call this the cool kids table. This is what happens during the breaks. While everyone else is listening to commercials, we get a little personal time with Mr. Henry. That's my name, by the way, Mr. Henry. Mark, if you didn't know, Recode Knoxville is a thing that's it's going on. It's a rezoning ordinance. There's 73,000 plots of land in the city of Knoxville. 80% of them are residential. There's a situation going on right now that's going through the city council that's they're going to take all 73,000 plots of land and rezone them into a whole bunch of nonsense, taking residential, making them commercial, a bunch of grainy cottages on people's lawns, mixed-use apartments, dwellings, businesses on the bottom, apartments on the top. Parking's going to be chaotic. The fear is that it's going to seep over into the county and become a county problem for the city and all a bunch of other stuff. Anyways, that's what we're talking about. But we talk national sometimes, too. Really want to say ah.
That's a crunchy remix of some Spice Girls there, I'll tell you what.
I like it.
Yeah, it's a little dubstep, little dubstep Spice Girls for you. Hey, shout out to Mark New Folk on Facebook here. Mark, just the policy here. I don't like to say people's last names. Bob's on Facebook. Ray's there with us. Let's see. Eric, Matt's up in there. Kristen Harris. Kristen, we need to have you back on again, buddy. Kristen dropped some knowledge, man. Let me tell you about this guy. He's the founder of American Intelligence Report, TV broadcaster. Kristen, give me the best website for those folks. You sent it up before. Was it hspfilms.com? He did some other stuff for us as well, too, man. Just some really, really good stuff. Check out the Kristen T. Harrison stuff. All right, 9:39 in the morning. Let's go to who's been hanging on the longest. Stimpy's been hanging on the longest. Then we'll go to WC. Current topic at hand right now is Recode Knoxville. I think I've spoken my piece on this right now. Hello, one more time, okay? I don't want to... We got a call on line 3, by the way, too. Sarah. Sarah's doing a crazy job for us today. She's all over the place. One more time, I just want to give you my piece on this, okay? I don't know what to do about it. I don't. Because the pessimistic side of me, the realist in me, wants to say, have we lost this battle? Is this said and done? I mean, they're having a vote on it in May. Yeah, this is the last supposed workshop this Thursday. I mean, this. Look, I am being purposely antagonistic. I am. I'm doing this to rile y'all up. To say this Thursday is probably, or so it's been said, the very last time that anybody gets to speak their mind on this issue. And if we don't do it on Thursday, it's honestly, if we don't do something about it on Thursday, myself included, do you hear what I'm saying? If we don't do something about this on Thursday, we're going to kind of be like those people, the man on the street interviews that are Bernie Bro supporters. And when you go ask them, what do you think about the presidential candidate? What do you think about what Trump is doing? And then the follow-up is, who do you vote for? They said nobody. I don't know. Y'all, we have a democracy of those that participate. You know what I'm saying? We don't have democracy. I get it. We have a representative republic. Let's rephrase it for what it means. We have a republic of those that participate. That's what it is. Okay? If we don't do something about this Thursday, we kind of need to hold our tongues on this. We can gripe and moan and complain as much as we want to, but something needs to be done, and I'm saying I think it needs to be done by this Thursday. Yeah, Heather, okay, good call. Yeah. Kelly says not yet. Heather says no battle is lost until the last man falls. Thank you. Yes, okay? I'm glad there's still some optimistic people out there. Let's go to, we'll go to Roz. She takes priority here. Roz, what's up?
What's going on, man?
Hey, hey.
Hey. So first and foremost, hats off, applause, snaps, all of it to Roberta.
Yeah.
I absolutely love what she said. Yeah. You know, why don't they go on the transportation? Why don't they take it? I can guarantee you they'll be driving their cars.
Right.
I can guarantee you it. Anyway, also I haven't heard mention that Stimpy actually brought my attention over the weekend is that what's also included in this recode, I don't know if anybody knows, but they want to eventually get to 10 properties each acreage of land.
Mm.
Do you hear what I'm saying?
Mm.
Do you hear what I'm saying? You want to hand toilet paper to your neighbor? Because I don't. 10 properties to each acre. I mean, we will be New York in no time. 5 years. I give it 5 years.
Well, let me ask though, Roz, because it seems like someone like, and I hate doing this to one of our city councilwomen, Stephanie Welch, because she's not here to defend herself, but it kind of seems like that's what people are wanting.
Do it. Do it. I don't care.
That's what I'm saying, though. Is okay. So that's what people are advocating for, in the sense that it's a good thing, that we need to become New York City, that we need to become Boston, we need to become Chicago, we need to become all these other cities that Camaros has helped to. And Sarah's shaking her head no. Right? I mean,
absolutely. I mean, that's her paycheck. She gets paid to go along with the agenda. Of course she's going to say that. Or she doesn't get paid. It's all about money. It always comes down to money. And she has to follow along with the agenda if she wants to continue living her life, getting her money, and ensuring that, nobody's going to mess with her driver's license. Nobody's going to mess with her car. Because we're not going to see her on the bus.
Right.
Along with all her friends.
Right. No, I think you're totally right. I think, and look.
I would love Richard to set this up. I would love for her to come. I have many questions for her.
You and me both. No, I get it. But, what do you do then if she comes back and says, well, the current infrastructure of public transportation is not going to be able to suffice. But this new infrastructure of, I don't know if that means, what does that mean? What, metro system, some type of rail system going around? I don't know. We're going to have, I don't know. I honestly don't know. Is it going to be like an influx of buses? Are we going to have like Ubers upon Ubers upon Ubers? I don't know what that means. But frankly speaking, it would certainly mean, regardless of what you have there, unless it's just a whole bunch of taxis or Ubers riding around. I don't know. Is that going to help out?
Are we even going to have Uber? Is that even going to be a thing? That's too convenient. You get what I'm saying? That's too convenient to use a system like Uber or Lyft or anything like that. They don't want you to have the convenience.
Yeah.
They don't.
I know. And it's frustrating too, Rose, when someone comes out and just says so blatantly, well, we need to incentivize people to stop driving. Maybe, but that's not exactly going to fly too well in East Tennessee. You know what I'm saying?
I mean, just like JB said, you have senior citizens out here. You have people like Roberta who is hard of seeing. And she has to have family members and friends help her go to the grocery store. What happens then? What happens to people like that?
Yeah, well, the gateway grocery people stuff takes off, I suppose, is what happens. Honestly,
they'll be a billion dollar company.
Well, as long as Roberta still has a place to live. I mean, let's be for real. If you're going to price all these senior citizens out of their home by just buying up plots of land, where are they going to go? Are you guys going to push them off into the relics of the county somewhere? I don't know. And then if you do that...
Oh, yeah. Why not go to a nursing home, right? I mean, don't they get money from that?
I don't know. And see, this is what I'm saying. Roz. I'm going to get to Stimpy before we hit this break, so I can give him, about 3 minutes to finish up his line as well. But this is what I'm saying is, if we don't do something about this Thursday and really get our opinions out on this, and this to make this a national thing, one more time is, we do local, but to make this national, this is just one of many upon many upon many that Akeley has done this to. Okay, Go look at any one of these other cities that Camaros has been involved with, or that the thing that Stimpy keeps trying to push, that Camaros has been involved with, and that Akeley is actually synthesizing down through. It's the same formula. And I know it may not be the motivation of the city council to change the voting demographic, but let's be real here, real news audience. That's exactly what's going to happen, whether that's your motivation or not. I'm not sure whether motivation should matter if the end goal is inevitable either way. Roz, with that being said, I'm going to get to Stimpy. I'll see. Am I going to see you tomorrow? What's going on?
Yes, buddy. I'm on my way back to Knoxville. I was on personal business, you know what I mean? Anyway, before I leave, I just want to say #Ickley is icky.
Ickley is icky. That's what I'm going to start that today. That's going on our Instagram. All right, Roz.
All right, buddy.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Mark, to answer your question, he says, did the city politics lean left or right? That's a very interesting dynamic for people that have just tuned into the show. The city is staunchly blue, leaning left, and the entire county is staunch red, leaning right. Therein lies and there encompasses one of the main issues going on, Mark, with this issue is the city is all Democrat, and the county surrounding that city is all Republican. The fear is that the Democrat blue-leaning city is going to seep over and blue bleed into the red Republicans, if you will. Got to hit this break right now. That'll give us a little bit more time for this last segment. We'll get to Stimpy first and then WC. Hit this break. Come right back. Be right back.
Oh, boy. Yeah, Matt meant to get rid of the pesky locals. Well, yeah. A little bit, I don't know. By the way, just so y'all know, if Mr. Harris is in here. Where'd he go? Kristen T. Harris. Kristen, what do we have you on? We had you on for the Bilderberg stuff, I think. Is that right? It was either Bilderberg or Bohemian Grove. Maybe it was one of the two. I think it was Bilderberg. Very interesting stuff there. More like they're surrounded and feeling paranoid. Yeah, probably. Yeah, but Norm, I mean, Facebook, read what Norm just said. That kind of proves my point too. Of like, yeah, I think most of the counties did vote red, and that Knoxville, maybe Nashville, and certainly Memphis, they probably vote blue all the time, right? Kind of goes to what we're saying is if you can't annex anymore, if you're just going to continually push the city out into the counties, inevitably you're going to change the voting demographics. You are. And the more you change the voting demographics, if you couple that with the more you rely upon public transportation for everything, what does that mean? Most of your reliance then, most of your daily living becomes entirely reliant upon what the city is providing you. The city, therefore, being run by Democrats, therefore you're somewhat coerced or coaxed into continually voting for what the city provides you for you, therefore you're continually forced to sort of vote Democrat. I mean, I'm not trying to make an argument here. I'm not. I'm just laying out factually, statistically speaking, what tends to happen every single time the city does this. It just makes sense. If the city provides most of your means of reasonable living, transportation, where you can buy food, when you can buy food, where and when you can take your kids to the park, where the dog parks are located, all this stuff, and they tell you when and how you can get there, well, you're sort of forced to vote on issues that are being provided to you by that. Do you get what I'm saying? I don't know, man. Maybe I'm wrong. I'm always willing to admit that I'm wrong. I just haven't seen it yet.
Donald Trump Cheeto, I love it.
I'm not afraid of Donald Trump.
You better be. Walking Cheeto. You know what I mean? It's a scary thing.
Hey, it's 9:50
in the morning. Welcome back to Real News, ladies and gentlemen. Let me do this. We only have about 8 minutes left, so let me do... WC hasn't called in for quite some time. Stimpy, if you can, you're on with us now. Let me do about 2, maybe 3 minutes with you so I can give the rest to WC here. What's on your mind, Stimpy?
Yes, this is actually trying to build upon what Roz was talking about, what Lewis was talking about, what Roberta was talking about. If it's okay with you, I was wanting to go through just a couple of the bullet points off the Knoxville Mobility highlights for the mobility plan of 2040.
Yeah.
This is available for everyone to actually look at and verify yourselves. It is knoxmobility.org/highlights/transit. Now, it states here at the bottom, it states, how can you get involved? Recode Knoxville. So this is completely dependent upon Recode Knoxville. But we need to pay attention what's been happening and what's going to continue happening, because this state specifically, the city of Knoxville zoning ordinance hasn't been updated in more than 50 years. Recode Knoxville is a process to adopt modern standards that will support continued development and redevelopment of the city in a way that uses resources efficiently and builds a strong, sustainable, walkable, transit-supportive community. Number 2, it gets into the sidewalk ordinance. It says the draft ordinance is a comprehensive policy for the city of Knoxville that would set requirements for pedestrian facilities assorted with new development and redevelopment. Continue to pay attention to the word redevelopment, because this allows them to continue to change this in the ways that they choose to. And also, it's where where Roz was actually talking about, where I brought this to her attention about the 10 properties per acre. You actually have to, when you're reading this document, you need to pay attention to their choice of words, because one thing that I thought was rather fascinating is that it states up to 30 workers, not citizens, not people, but workers per acre is what they're talking about achieving through this whole initiative. And then it goes through, like I said, with the stats where they're breaking down how many people there are per acre in Knoxville, as well as comparing it to other cities that we're trying to model ourselves after. It said, during the development of Mobility Plan 2040, we heard from people about transit at every meeting we held or attended. It was also a common theme in all of our surveys. Who the heck are these people that are talking to them? Because this is coming directly off their paperwork. I have asked them on several different occasions, at least at the last 2 workshops, I tried asking them specific questions. You can go back and listen to that audio. They do not answer a single question. Because now when you're actually talking about these buses, I don't know if you've paid attention to the trolley lines. Those are custom-built buses. Those run at a starting point, if my memory is correct. I believe they started about $250,000. Now, as you continue to read this mobility plan, what they're wanting to achieve to actually make things much easier is, number one, you create higher density. So all these houses are going to be crammed into a smaller footprint. Number two, you actually have to bring in these businesses within a walking distance. So now you're going to have all of these commercial properties that are basically right in your backyard of where you're living at, because it's going to be within a walkable, sustainable development. And then in addition to that, where you're actually talking about your local transit and trying to get around the city. So now how they're trying to make this more appealing is that they're going to drastically increase the number of the cat buses that we see within the community. And they're talking about they're wanting you to wait a minimum, an absolute minimum of 15 minutes per bus. That's for every single stop in the city. Can you imagine how many buses they're going to incorporate, in addition to the cost of the sidewalks and in addition to the cost of the bike lanes? I mean, you can kind of start putting all this together, and they will not give a single answer about how this is going to impact our taxes, about how this is going to impact our pockets. And like I said earlier, is they also have just voted themselves to a rather not so modest pay raise.
Yeah,
where we didn't get a say in that either.
And Stimpy, I'm going to have to stop you there so I can give WC the last 3 minutes here, man, but I think you're right on. I know you could give me a multitude of other examples. I always appreciate hearing from you, Stimpy. I'll talk to you soon, buddy.
Thanks a lot. You take care.
A new Facebook person, Mark, says, "Oh my, is this the start of AOC's delusion? Force people to rely solely upon the government for everything." Yeah, Mark, honestly, that's a little bit why Knoxvillians are so upset about this thing. And not just upset, they're a little bit fearful that this entire reliance upon the government is going to seep into something else. Eric's saying, like the Philip K. Dick novel, "Do androids dream of electric sheep? Owning a real-life pet is a sign of wealth, and most people have robot pets." Cage match, question mark. Mac and Facebook saying, "First we take Manhattan, then we take Berlin, then we take every city they can, then launch attacks on the counties straight out of the commie playbook." Last 3 minutes of the program here. WC, thanks for hanging on so long. Been a hot minute since I heard from WC. How you been? What's on your mind?
I've been doing well, Grant. I hope you've been doing well. Been doing all right?
Yeah, man, doing all right. Got through some health stuff recently. Good bill of health on the books now. Ready to go.
I'm glad you're healthy and doing well, partner. It's I'll get right to it. I'm sure all this is heartfelt information, but I started thinking when I was listening to some of this, some wrong information, Grant. How many of these people giving you this information do you think have ever been on the MPC agenda even one time?
Aside from Stephanie Welch, she's on city council, I have not spoken to anybody just directly on NBC aside from Gerald Green through email.
No, I'm talking about even being on their agenda, ever being on an MPC agenda, some of this information you get.
Oh, yeah. I have no idea. Right, I hear you.
Yeah. Well, you're talking to somebody that has multiple times, and 10 units per acre isn't even fathomable. And let me give you an instance on Park Ridge. I hear you and I have agreed we don't have free markets, but I hear yours and a lot of right-wingers market approach. Well, that's what's going on over in Park Ridge. It's not a multinational conglomerate. I'll tell you exactly who it is. It's two sets of realtors, two guys. Matter of fact, John, the station manager, has had one of the guys' uncles on. Those two guys are local. It's two hipster guys. I'm just shooting straight as I can be. They got over there and doing them a block at a time, and then you got two female realtors over there rehabbing properties. And it's the market approach that you talked about. millennials and people that can afford it want to be closer to Center City. That's what's going on in Park Ridge. The same thing I did in Old North. When I started over in Old North, they were $30,000 to $40,000 houses. And now the market over there sustains upwards of $250,000 to $300,000 in houses. And I've told you in the past, the two fastest growing areas in this county, within the city, in metropolitan Knoxville, are Hardin Valley for the schools and Fort Sanders for UT, having the largest enrollment that they ever have.
Hey, and WC, man, I got to end the show right here. It's going to cut us off even if I don't want to, man. I might pick up the show from here tomorrow. It seems like people are really on to this. May have to cover it a couple more times before Thursday, being that it is the 2nd. WC, I miss you, buddy. Call me back soon.
I'm going to miss you. Hey, if I get a chance, I'll call in because activism will postpone recode. So we're on the same page on that.
Awesome, good deal, buddy. I hear you, WC.
Have a good one, Grant. Glad to have you back, man.
Thank you, buddy. There goes WC. Appreciate all the new Facebook folks. Appreciate everybody listening terrestrial, listening on our app, everything else. I'll throw this up on YouTube later on today. I'll get Marshall to teach me how to throw this up on our MP3 format podcast. All that stuff's coming tomorrow. Actually, stick around. News, traffic, weather, all that. Glenn Beck coming up after this, and then be back tomorrow doing it big. Love y'all.
Oh, Facebook, I love y'all. You're the best audience in the entire nation. Let's see. Tomorrow is Wednesday. We have on a pretty interesting topic this guy named Colton Moore. He's a state representative from Georgia. He's going to be coming in and giving us, he's a freshman representative. He's going to be coming in after the first end of the legislative season. Because he's not speaking in his state, he's going to give us all the nitty-gritty of what it's like to be a state representative, the swamp that we think doesn't exist in our state legislatures. He's going to fully divulge, at least in Georgia, and is probably applicable to Tennessee as well, what that means, that the swamp is a very real thing. He's like, I think the kid's like 25 years old. Really interesting story. He says anything is fair game. He wants hard questions. He wants questions as to what it's really like behind the doors, what it's like for lobbyists when they come in, what it's like when he has to speak to lobbyists, potential money that they may not offer, all those hard questions, whether that goes on in Tennessee as well, all that stuff. I'm also trying to tell me what y'all think about this. I don't know, it may be a dead topic now, but Justin Lafferty voted present on that Tennessee heartbeat bill, and we're having this Georgia representative in tomorrow specifically to talk about Georgia passing their Tennessee heartbeat bill, or trying to. We're not sure if we should pair that with Justin Lafferty, giving him an opportunity to speak as to why he voted present as opposed to no or yes. From what I heard, Lafferty, and I'm not trying to put words in Lafferty's mouth here, so I would hope maybe Lafferty could speak for himself. For new people listening, Justin Lafferty is one of our state representatives. Tennessee is proposing, I think it passed the House already, maybe it's at the Senate, I don't know where it is, a heartbeat bill that's 8 weeks into a pregnancy. You can't abort a child after 8 weeks. Now, what Lafferty was saying is the reason why he voted present as opposed to no is that inevitably this is going to go to the courts, which is true. Inevitably, it's probably going to get overturned if it hits a federal court system, which is also very true. And he doesn't want to give endless amounts of taxpayer money to Planned Parenthood when they go back and inevitably fight this as well. It won't be taxpayer money, but somebody's going to be giving that money to Planned Parenthood by way of federal funding or private donations or something. I guess the idea being is if you give Planned Parenthood something to fight against, there's going to be money involved in that for their attorneys that are working for $600, $700, $800 an hour type thing, right? I think Lafferty's argument was it's inevitably going to fail, and if it is, because of constitutional reasons, I don't want to give Planned Parenthood money during the meantime. Now, I don't know what you think about that. I also don't know if that's his exact answer. It's just what I've heard. So see if you want to have Lafferty on or not at all. There's a slew of topics that I didn't get to today and national stories I wanted to get to. Let's see. The Arizona parents who were, facing, charges for not bringing their 2-year-old to get medical treatment. Cancer apparently could be cured now with a vaccine. Democrats prepared to subpoena Mueller for more information. Nunez on the other side is prepared to issue criminal referrals for Trump's FISA court documents. I'm getting blown up with Facebook messages here. All this stuff. Anyways, I love the likes, shares, comments. That really helps tweak that algorithm. Y'all are literally the best audience in the world. If awesome, sweet. Kelly Hardpass. Yes, go with Lafferty, right? Wait, Ray, you said you'll go with Lafferty as far as his vote or get him on the show? Either way, I appreciate all the likes, shares, all that stuff. It really helps us get our name out there. If you like the program, let us know, man. I say this all the time, but I'll say it again for the new people. I do this program only for one reason. That's just for the audience. Pure and simple. That's the only reason why I do this. There's no other reason for me to do this. The mission statement of Real News is to hopefully have a situation where we can have a calm, cordial dialogue with people that I disagree with. I just want reality to come back. I want logical discourse to come back. I want people to know what a syllogism is. I want us to agree upon some things finally again. And it's just Orange Man bad is not an argument. Orange Man bad is not an argument. You get what I'm saying? Anyways, y'all the best. Love y'all. See you tomorrow. Peace.